Chapter 157. Miracle Dr. Shui felt that there was no need to make a name for himself in the eyes of the commoners, but Su Lang felt that it would be useful for him. The reason why Su Lang called Miracle Dr. Shui over was so that he could make a name for himself. Miracle Dr. Shui treated the richest man in Qingling and made a name for himself in Qingling. Then, when Miracle Dr. Shui attended the wedding as a guest, the impact would be even greater. This was exactly what Su Lang wanted to see. Then let's inform the media. Miracle Dr. Shui immediately changed his mind. Since the god of war had given the order, he would definitely do as he was told. After the discussion, Ma Hongsheng immediately got his men to take action. It took time to collect the herbs for Ma Hongsheng's treatment. During this time, the news of the miracle doctor treating the richest man in Qingling started to spread. In this era of information, the speed of news spreading was too fast. After a short day of fermenting, the news quickly spread through the streets and alleys of Qingling. Almost everyone knew about it. In the afternoon, Qin Yunhan secretly called Wang Haoren to a secluded place to talk. "Why do you miss me so much?" Wang Haoren hugged Qin Yunhan's waist and teased her. "Stop fooling around. You can't do anything." Qin Yunhan rolled her eyes at him. Wang Haoren was stunned for a moment before he realized that there was something wrong with him in Qin Yunhan's eyes. "Sai, you're right." Wang Haoren pretended to be sad and sighed. "I'm sorry, I didn't do it on purpose." Qin Yunhan thought that Wang Haoren was hurt and quickly apologized. "It's okay. All right, I heard that a miracle doctor came to Qingling. Maybe there's hope for your illness to be cured," Qin Yunhan said expectantly. "Is that so?" Wang Haoren pretended that he had just heard the news. In fact, he was the one who had secretly instructed Cheng Rue to spread the news of the godly doctor treating Ma Hongsheng to the public. Cheng Rue had lived up to his expectations. "It's absolutely true. I even asked my dad about it. In this day and age, there's so many people pretending to be godly doctors. Maybe he's just a quack. How is that possible? He's from the capital, and he's quite famous there. How can you be a quack? You mean you want me to see a doctor? Okay. Qin Yunhan fiercely nodded her head. "I heard from my dad that the godly doctor will treat Ma Hongsheng at 1 o'clock this afternoon. It's only 12 o'clock now. Let's go take a look. If that godly doctor is really that good, you should also go and see him." "I don't think so." Wang Haoren was not very willing. First of all, he was very well. He was not sick at all. Second of all, that godly doctor's reputation was about to be destroyed. At most, he would just be there to watch the show. Go. You're already in this state. Why do you still care about your reputation?" Qin Yunhan urged as she pulled Wang Haoren out of the school. Wang Haoren saw how anxious she was, so he went along with her. He would just treat it as watching a good show. The two of them left the school and took a taxi to Tianhui Clinic. Outside Tianhui Clinic, there were many reporters. However, they were all blocked outside and were not allowed to enter. Only a small number of reporters from big media outlets had the right to enter. Some reporters wanted to pretend to be patients and sneak in, but they realized that they were not even qualified to see a doctor. The Wang family and the Qin family were the top members of Tianhui Clinic. Wang Haoren and Qin Yunhan. One was the young master of the Wang family group, while the other was the young mistress of the Qin family group. If the two of them wanted to enter, naturally, no one would stop them. Wang Haoren had been here once before, so he knew where Ma Hongsheng's ward was. However, at this moment, the corridor outside Ma Hongsheng's ward was surrounded by more than 10 people, blocking the door of the ward. These were the wealthy people who came because of Miracle Dr. Shui's reputation and wanted to see for themselves Miracle Dr. Shui's medical skills. There's so many people. Don't tell me they're all here to see a doctor? Qin Yunhan was a little anxious. Wang Haoren sneered secretly. He then pretended to be calm and said, "What's the hurry? That godly doctor hasn't even started his performance. If we let him show his skills first, we still don't know if he's really capable." Qin Yunhan stretched her neck, but she couldn't see anything. Hence, she could only sigh. "It's almost 1 p.m. now. That godly doctor should be starting his treatment. It's a pity that we can't see anything." Wang Haoren didn't have this problem at all. Once he activated his X-ray vision, nothing could block his vision. In the ward, Miracle Dr. Xue had already prepared the herbs and silver needles. He gestured for everyone to back away a certain distance, to not disturb the treatment, and, at the same time, made a gesture to keep quiet. The rich people around slowly backed away, and the chatter stopped. Ma Hongsheng was lying on the bed, in a state of deep sleep. Cheng Rue was waiting at the bedside. There was also a blonde-haired and blue-eyed foreigner, watching from the side. His name was Blake, and he was the dean of Tianhui Clinic. He specialized in Western medicine, but admired the Yin country's medical skills very much. He had heard that the Yin country's famous godly doctor was going to treat a patient, and had come over, wanting to see for himself the Yin country's medical skills. Su Lang was also present, but he had blended in with the crowd. He wore a hat, which covered half his face. Ma Hongsheng was very important to his wedding, and that was why he had specially come to take a look. Miracle Dr. Xue took a deep breath, took out the silver needles, and disinfected them. He then soaked the silver needles in the prepared herbal solution. Immediately after, he inserted the needles into Ma Hongsheng's acupoints. Miracle Dr. Xue's movements were very fast, dazzling the eyes, but the needles he inserted were very accurate. Some of the rich people were recording with their phones, wanting to record this miraculous scene. After about 3 minutes, Miracle Dr. Xue finished inserting the needles. His face showed an enigmatic smile, and said to the people around him, "It will only take 10 minutes for the medicine to fully take effect, and Mr. Ma will wake up automatically." The Yin country's acupuncture skills are really amazing. It's really an eye-opener. Dean Blake spoke Mandarin very well, and after seeing Miracle Dr. Xue's dazzling acupuncture skills, he immediately praised him. The Yin country's medical skills are extensive and profound. This is just the tip of the iceberg. The truly amazing acupuncture skills, I have not even used them yet. Miracle Dr. Xue stroked his beard habitually and said to Blake, godly doctor, is it convenient for us to interview you?" A big media reporter asked. Hearing that, Miracle Dr. Xue had initially rejected. He really did not want to be famous among the general public, but Su Lang, who was in the crowd, suddenly threw a glance over. "Sure." Miracle Dr. Xue nodded, agreeing to the reporter's request. When the reporter saw that Miracle Dr. Xue had agreed, he immediately stepped forward from the crowd, holding a microphone in his hand to interview Miracle Dr. Xue. Chapter 158. This reporter used about 5 minutes to do a simple interview with Miracle Dr. Xue. However, it was not easy for this reporter to get this opportunity. Naturally, he would not let it go with just a few questions. "Thank you for answering our questions, Miracle Dr. Xue. However, your theories are too vague. Would it be convenient for you to show us your skills again?" Miracle Dr. Xue was very unhappy that he was being questioned again. If young Su did not ask him to cooperate with the interview, he would have flipped out. When he was in the imperial capital, who didn't know his name? Now that he was in a small place like Qingling, everyone seemed to be ignorant and doubted his abilities. "All right, I want to see a doctor. Why don't you come over and let me take a look?" Miracle Dr. Xue asked the rich people around him. Me. The rich people around him responded immediately and shouted, "You come over." Miracle Dr. Xue scanned the crowd and pointed at a plump woman who was wearing jewelry. When the woman saw that she was pointed at, she immediately walked over with her huge body and sat down on the stool in front of Miracle Dr. Xue. Under the weight of this plump woman, the stool let out a faint sound as if it could not bear the burden. Miracle Doctor, quickly take a look at me." The woman stretched out her plump wrist. Miracle Dr. Xue glanced at her. He had no intention of taking her pulse. This was because he could tell with just one look. "You have high blood lipids, high blood pressure, and moderate heart disease. Am I right?" Miracle Dr. Xue asked. Yes. The woman was shocked. "I went to the hospital half a year ago. The doctor did say that I have these illnesses and prescribed me medicine. However, after taking it for half a year, there was no improvement. No wonder he is a miracle doctor. He could tell the illness with just one look. Amazing. Obese people usually have these illnesses. If it were me, I would be able to guess it too." "That's true." The people around him started to discuss. Miracle Dr. Xue heard the comments of the crowd and could not help but sneer. People from a small place will always be people from a small place. How dare they doubt me? With that thought in mind, Miracle Dr. Xue spoke to the woman. The root of your illness is that you're too fat. To put it bluntly, your illness is caused by excessive obesity. If you can't reduce your weight, you won't be able to eradicate these illnesses. I want to lose weight too, but I'm obese. I gain weight just by drinking water. I can't lose weight at all. The fat woman complained incessantly. I have a great way to lose weight. You only need to take it for a month. I guarantee that you'll lose weight without any side effects. Miracle Dr. Xue decided to show his true abilities to show these people. Really? Then, godly doctor, hurry up and prescribe medicine for me. The fat woman hurriedly said, I have my own rules. If you want me to treat you, you have to pay first. Miracle Dr. Xue said calmly. The disease hasn't even been treated yet, and we have to pay first. The fat woman was a little unhappy. This is the rule of my medical practice. It has always been like this. If you don't wanna, you don't have to seek treatment from me. Miracle Dr. Xue was confident in his medical skills. When he was in Beijing, he always followed this rule when those big shots sought him out for treatment. Someone from a small place like Qingling couldn't possibly be more precious than someone from the imperial capital, right? It was even more impossible for him to break the rules. How much do you need? The fat woman was unhappy with this miracle doctor's rules. However, she was in a hurry to treat her illness and didn't lack money. Hence, she asked directly, this much? Miracle Dr. Xue stretched out 3 fingers. 30,000? Then it's a deal. I'll pay immediately, the fat woman said happily. No. Miracle Dr. Xue shook his head. 300,000? All right, I don't lack money either, as long as I can lose weight. Add another 0. 3 million? Are you robbing me? The fat woman's eyes widened. If you think it's too expensive, you can choose not to treat me. Miracle Dr. Xue said coldly. You haven't even treated Mr. Ma yet. I don't know if you're really capable. I'll wait for Mr. Ma to wake up before making a decision. The fat woman felt that the price was too high. Hence, she wanted to be more cautious. If you come to me again later, it won't be this much. It will be at least double. I think you're really crazy about money. The fat woman couldn't hold it in any longer. Hence, she retorted, you're my blacklist. Even if you kneel down and beg me and give me all your assets, I won't treat you. Miracle Dr. Xue had a temper too. Hence, he couldn't help but feel frustrated when he saw the fat woman's attitude. Seeing that the miracle doctor was angry, the fat woman instantly regretted her words. If this miracle doctor could really help her lose weight, she was still willing to fork out 3 million. Miracle doctor, I was too impulsive just now. Please forgive me if I offended you with my words. The fat woman tried to salvage the situation. It's too late now, Miracle Dr. Xue sneered. The miracle doctor had his pride. Since he had already said it, there was no reason for him to take it back. Seeing this, the fat woman felt helpless. She could only return to the crowd temporarily. She wanted to observe the situation first before seeking the miracle doctor to treat her illness. Since the fat woman had made a bad start and Miracle Dr. Xue's asking price was too high, no one took the initiative to come forward to be treated by Miracle Dr. Xue. The reporter who was interviewing Miracle Dr. Xue didn't know how to smooth things over. Miracle Dr. Xue didn't care about the reactions of the people around him. What he needed to do now was to wait. As long as he waited for Ma Hongsheng to wake up, the situation would immediately turn around. Time passed by quietly, and soon it was 10 minutes. At this moment, the medicinal effect that was injected into Ma Hongsheng's body through the silver needle had taken effect. At this moment, Ma Hongsheng's finger twitched slightly. Cheng Rue had been waiting by the side, observing the changes in Ma Hongsheng. Naturally, she noticed this slight movement. Ever since Ma Hongsheng contracted this strange illness, Cheng Rue had taken care of him for a period of time. Cheng Rue knew that this was a sign that Ma Hongsheng was waking up. According to the frequency of Ma Hongsheng's deep sleep, he shouldn't have woken up at this time. Chung Rue couldn't help but clench her toes tightly. She was a little flustered. At the same time, she was also annoyed at Wang Haoran for being unreliable. In the previous message, Wang Haoran swore that this miracle doctor wasn't skilled enough to treat his poison. Water, water. Ma Hongsheng let out a soft sound. He's awake, he's awake. When the surrounding people saw the commotion, they were all shocked. Chung Rue gritted her teeth secretly. At this moment, she was very disappointed in Wang Haoran. However, she didn't dare to show any strange emotions. Instead, she immediately poured a glass of water for Ma Hongsheng to drink. After drinking the glass of water, Ma Hongsheng was completely awake. Miracle doctor, he's indeed a miracle doctor. The surrounding people were in an uproar. They exclaimed together and looked at Miracle Dr. Shui with admiration. When Miracle Dr. Shui saw the reactions of the people around him, he couldn't help but snort arrogantly. These people from small places were too difficult to get along with. If anyone came to treat him later, he would definitely ask for a higher price. This would be the price they had to pay for not trusting him. However, just as Miracle Dr. Shui was planning to make a huge profit, Ma Hongsheng suddenly hugged his head and howled in pain. How? How did this happen? Miracle Dr. Shui was at a loss for what to do with this sudden situation. Chapter 159. Hongsheng, what's wrong with you? Seeing this, Chung Rue immediately called out a few times. However, Ma Hongsheng didn't give any response. He continued to hold his head and groan in pain. What did you do? Why is Hongsheng like this? Chung Rue questioned Miracle Dr. Shui, who was at a loss. It should be a stress reaction. Ma, he'll be fine soon. The situation was out of Miracle Dr. Shui's control, but he still had a little confidence in his medical skills. However, just as he finished his sentence, Ma Hongsheng stopped moaning and fainted immediately. Miracle Dr. Shui's lips trembled. He didn't know what to do. Dean Blake was still calm. He immediately went forward to check on Ma Hongsheng's pupils. At the same time, he looked at the data displayed on some devices that were connected to Ma Hongsheng's body. Mr. Ma has fainted, but his condition seems to have worsened, Dean Blake said after making a judgment. When Chung Rue heard this, she was secretly delighted. Wang Haoran was right. Not only did this miracle doctor not cure Ma Hongsheng's strange illness, he even worsened it. Of course, Chung Rue wouldn't show it on her face. Instead, she began to cry bitterly, and her tears kept falling. Wang Haoran, who saw the situation with his X-ray vision, couldn't help but admire Chung Rue's acting skills. I thought he was a miracle doctor. Turns out he's just a con man. The fat lady who came to Miracle Dr. Shui saw this scene and couldn't help but walk over and spit. She still had some hope that this Miracle Dr. Shui was really capable and could help her lose weight. Who knew that he was just a con man? Mrs. Ma, don't be agitated. Let me take a look at Mr. Ma again. Maybe there'll be a turn for the better. Trust me, trust me. Miracle Dr. Shui tried to salvage the situation. Chung Rue didn't reply. She just kept crying. She was so heartbroken. Treat him? Look at how he's been treated. If I treat him again, he might die. That's right. Quack doctors are harming people. We can't let him escape. Call the police. The crowd was raging as they glared at Miracle Dr. Shui furiously. Some of them even spat at Miracle Dr. Shui. At the same time, Wang Haoran also received a system notification. Ding! The host manipulated behind the scenes and caused Miracle Dr. Shui's reputation to be ruined. Obtained 600 villain points, minus 30 protagonist aura from Mr. Su, plus 30 villain aura from the host. Miracle Dr. Shui's face darkened when he heard the angry scolding around him. He had been practicing medicine for decades, but this was the first time he had been called a quack. However, he could not find any words to refute. Ma Hongsheng's condition had indeed worsened under his treatment. This was something that he was very puzzled about. However, now was not the time to dwell on this, because someone had made a phone call and the surrounding area was blocked. He had nowhere to run now. Not long after, the official arrived. The leader was Ling Duanya. The crowd parted to let Ling Duanya's people in. You're suspected of harming people in the name of practicing medicine. Please come with us, Ling Duanya said coldly to Miracle Dr. Shui. I didn't harm anyone. I wanted to save people out of goodwill. I was saving people. Miracle Dr. Shui retorted. Which quack doctors in the world don't kill people out of goodwill? Ling Duanya sneered and said to her colleagues, Take him away. Miracle Dr. Shui was immediately detained. Sir, save me, save me. Miracle Dr. Shui panicked as he shouted at Su Lang, who was in the crowd. There's an accomplice? Ling Duanya's eyelids twitched. She followed Miracle Dr. Shui's gaze and locked onto Mr. Su. She walked in front of Mr. Su and asked, You know this quack doctor? Young Su squinted his eyes and stared at Miracle Dr. Shui angrily. He slowly said, I don't know him. Sir, you can't do this. You're the one who asked me to come here. How can you ignore me now? Miracle Dr. Shui shouted. Mr. Su's face darkened. He wanted to give Miracle Dr. Shui a few tight slaps. He asked Miracle Dr. Shui to come over because he wanted him to support his wedding. Now that Miracle Dr. Shui had committed a crime, his reputation was ruined. To him, Miracle Dr. Shui had lost his value. If Miracle Dr. Shui was involved with him, wouldn't his reputation be ruined? If he was accused of being an accomplice because of Miracle Dr. Shui, he might as well forget about his wedding. Mr. Su saw this situation and naturally sold Miracle Dr. Shui out. You quack, shut up. Mr. Su glared at Miracle Dr. Shui and warned him with his eyes. Miracle Dr. Shui heard this and didn't dare to yell anymore. He didn't want to cause trouble for the god of war. However, in his heart, he was extremely displeased. He felt that the battle god had developed quite a bit of resentment. Officer, I really don't know him. He's talking nonsense. Please take him away, Mr. Su said to Ling Duanya. We'll investigate this properly. If there's any connection, we'll definitely come back and ask you for help. As she spoke, Ling Duanya took out a pen and paper. Please show me your identification and leave your contact details and address. Mr. Su was very cooperative. He wrote down the information that Ling Duanya wanted to know on the paper and showed his identification. He had already warned Miracle Dr. Shui. He didn't think that Miracle Dr. Shui would speak nonsense. After Ling Duanya recorded it, she quickly left with the team. The rich people who knew Ma Hongsheng all comforted Cheng Rue. They told her not to be so sad and to take care of herself. Cheng Rue was weak. After crying for a long time, she felt a little dizzy and was sent to the ward by the nurse. Director Blake prepared to do another detailed checkup on Ma Hongsheng. The rich people gradually dispersed. Initially, the media was prepared to publicize Miracle Dr. Shui and had even prepared a press release. But now, the press release had to be changed. It was changed to a quack doctor harming people to warn everyone. So he's a quack doctor. Damn bastard. Qin Yunhan was very angry. She almost cursed. She brought Wang Haoran here excitedly. Originally, she had great hope that Wang Haoran's illness could be cured. Who knew that after waiting for so long, she found out that the so-called miracle doctor was a quack doctor who harmed people. One could imagine how angry she was. Let nature take its course. You can't force it. Wang Haoran pretended to be sad. Brother Haoran, I'm sorry. It's all my fault for bringing you here. I gave you hope, but I let you down. Qin Yunhan apologized. How can I blame you? Wang Haoran shook his head. Then he suddenly thought of something. Actually, I secretly saw a doctor. I know that there's a folk prescription that might be able to cure my illness. But as he said this, he seemed to find it hard to say. So, he didn't continue. What's the folk prescription? Tell me quickly. Qin Yunhan had a glimmer of hope in her heart. She hurriedly urged him. It's Wang Haoran whispered a few words. After hearing this, Qin Yunhan couldn't help but widen her eyes. Her face was as red as a cooked lobster. Chapter 160. Night fell. Su Lang returned from outside. In the afternoon, he went to understand the situation after Miracle Dr. Shui was arrested. According to the lawyer, Miracle Dr. Shui wouldn't be released in a short period of time. Moreover, the media outside was all over the news about quack doctors harming people, murdering people, etc., which dominated the headlines. Almost everyone in the world knew about it. Miracle Dr. Shui was already considered dead in society. Even if he could come out, he would be hated by everyone. Hence, his plan to get miracle Dr. Shui to attend the wedding was ruined. However, Su Lang didn't care. After all, he didn't just summon miracle Dr. Shui alone. If miracle Dr. Shui was in trouble, there would naturally be other famous people coming to support him. Thinking of this, Su Lang regained his energy and wanted to go home to cook. However, after taking 10 steps, he suddenly stopped in his tracks. Come out. There was no one around. Su Lang seemed to be talking to the air. As expected of the Lord God of War, your senses are still so sharp. A man in dark-colored clothes slowly walked out from the shadows and said with a smile on his face, "Aning, it's really you." Su Lang smiled faintly. The person in front of him was actually one of the people he contacted. Your subordinate, Aning, greets the Lord God of War. The man called Ning said respectfully. This man was Su Lang's right-hand man. He was proficient in assassination and tracking. No need to stand on ceremony. Su Lang waved his hand. Lord God of War, the news you sent back has caused quite a commotion. I received secret information that your enemies have also sent people to infiltrate Qingling, and Ing reported. Since I revealed the location of my seclusion, I already guessed that this day would come. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked you to come. Su Lang revealed a smile, as if everything was under his control. Lord God of War, please give me your orders. Aning immediately said, I don't care about those clowns at all. The only thing I'm worried about is that they might lay their hands on my wife. Help me protect her in secret. Yes. Aning accepted the order and blended into the darkness. Su Lang returned home, as usual. He started to cook while thinking about the wedding. Previously, he had pinned his hopes on Ma Hongsheng. He planned to wait for Ma Hongsheng to recover before handing over the wedding matters to him. However, Ma Hongsheng's current situation was not optimistic. He could not count on him at all. Su Lang thought about it and decided to personally arrange the wedding. Yang Jingwan and her family hadn't returned yet. After Su Lang finished cooking, he took advantage of the free time to contact the largest wedding dress shop in Qingling. He also made an appointment with the shop to try on a wedding dress and gown tomorrow. In the dormitory, Blurg, Qin Yunhan rushed to the bathroom, vomited for a while, and then rinsed her mouth. Then, she returned to her room and stared at Wang Haoren with a reproachful gaze. This folk prescription is really useful. I feel like I'm really fine. This must be the power of love. Wang Haoren said to Qin Yunhan with an exaggerated expression. I look like an idiot. Qin Yunhan pouted. All right, I'll tell you the truth. Actually, after being plotted against by Xiao Yifeng that day, after a period of time, I realized that sometimes I'm quite normal. However, I didn't dare to confirm it, so I played a joke on you. Wang Haoren saw Qin Yunhan's stern face and asked, You're not angry, are you? Of course, Qin Yunhan was not angry. Now that Wang Haoren was back to normal, she couldn't be happier. Why would she care about such a small thing? However, she deliberately put on a stern face. I'll let Zhao Zhao go back today. You come over and tutor me. Treat it as punishment for lying to me. Okay. Wang Haoren readily agreed. It was still between classes. The two sneaked into the dormitory. After chatting for a while, they hurried back. On the other side, after Su Lang waited for a while, Yang Jingwan and her family also came back, chatting and laughing. After dinner, Su Lang washed the dishes and mopped the floor until almost 10 o'clock. He went to Yang Jingwan's bedroom and knocked on the door for a while. Why are you knocking? What's the matter? Yang Jingwan was annoyed and had no choice but to open the door and complain. I made an appointment with someone at the wedding dress shop to try on clothes. What time do you get off work tomorrow? Let's go, Su Lang said. I get off work very late tomorrow. I'm not going. Yang Jingwan threw down these words and tried to close the door. However, Su Lang stopped her with his hand and didn't let her succeed. I've already made an appointment. Let's just go. How can we attend a wedding without a wedding dress and gown? Su Lang said earnestly. Yang Jingwan didn't want to pay attention to him, so she pushed the door and tried to lock it. However, Su Lang's strength was unexpectedly great. The door was blocked by him. Yang Jingwan tried to push it, but it didn't budge. I already said I'm not going to try on wedding dresses. Aren't you annoying? If you don't agree, then I'm going to stand here and not leave, Su Lang said shamelessly. I'll be honest with you. I've already fallen in love with someone else. Plus, I cheated on you. So, let's get a divorce. Yang Jingwan said in a fit of anger as she made things worse and laid her cards on the table. Jingwan, don't lie to me. You're still a virgin. Su Lang didn't take her words to heart and assumed she was lying. When Yang Jingwan heard this, she couldn't help but be surprised. How can you tell? How can you tell? I can tell from the way you walk. I can confirm that you're still a young woman. You can't lie to me. Su Lang smiled proudly. After Su Lang's provocation, Yang Jingwan calmed down a little and didn't continue to lay her cards on the table. Honey, we've already agreed. After the wedding, if you still insist on getting a divorce, then I will definitely agree. But before that, can you cooperate? It's just a wedding dress fitting, Su Lang said gently. Oh, okay. Yang Jingwan reluctantly agreed. When you get off work tomorrow, I'll pick you up, Su Lang said eagerly. Don't come. If you come to pick you up, then I won't go. Yang Jingwan immediately rejected him. Su Lang only had an electric scooter, and it was extremely slow. She might as well take the bus. Plus, Yang Jingwan didn't want her colleagues to see that she had such a useless husband. Okay, then I'll just try on a wedding dress. Su Lang didn't force her. Bang! Before he finished speaking, Yang Jingwan slammed the door shut. Su Lang shrugged his shoulders and didn't care. As the saying went, after suffering comes happiness. He firmly believed that the worse Yang Jingwan treated him right now, the gentler she would treat him in the future. You're really something. I didn't know you had such a magical skill. Inside the dorm, Wang Haoran was teaching Qin Yunhan homework while listening to Yang Jingwan's movements. When he heard Su Lang say that he could tell if a woman was a virgin from the way she walked, he was shocked. Of course, Wang Haoran's focus wasn't on this. Instead, it was on Su Lang's appointment with Yang Jingwan to try on the wedding dress at the wedding dress shop. If he guessed correctly, there was a high chance that the wedding dress shop would trigger a melodramatic scene. For example, Yang Jingwan would take a fancy to an expensive wedding dress, and the shop assistant wouldn't think she could afford it. At that time, Su Lang would step up and take out a few $1 billion to slap the shop assistant in the face. Of course, this was only Wang Haoran's wild guess. He wasn't sure if there would be such a melodramatic scene. But Wang Haoran had already made up his mind to go to the wedding dress shop and join in on the fun. Yang Jingwan's favorability towards him had already reached 75. She had even asked Su Lang for a divorce. As long as he continued to work hard and increase her favorability towards him, Yang Jingwan would definitely be more open to him. That way, he would have an easier time dealing with Su Lang. How do I solve this question? Qin Yunhan asked Wang Haoran as she pointed a math question. It's very simple. Wang Haoran explained the idea to Qin Yunhan. Then, he asked Qin Yunhan to solve the question herself. During this time, he took out his phone and started typing a message. Chapter 161. After Yang Jingwan locked the door, she stared at her phone in a daze. She stared at the WeChat interface, wanting to send a message to Wang Haoran. However, she didn't know what to say, so she was a little hesitant. However, at this time, Wang Haoran sent her a message. Yang Jingwan was overjoyed. She quickly opened the interface and read the message. Young Master Wang, what did you mean the other day? 111. What did I say? Young Master Wang, you forgot so quickly. You were the one who said that you wouldn't let me down. 111. How could I forget? To tell you the truth, I actually don't like Su Lang at all. Our marriage is only in name. In this 1 year of marriage, we haven't even held hands. Wang Haoran didn't doubt Yang Jingwan's words, but he wanted to tease her. Young Master Wang, really? I don't believe you. 111. If you don't believe me, I will prove it to you in the future. Young Master Wang, prove it? How will you prove it? 111. Young Master Wang, what's the situation between you and Su Lang? 111. I've already asked for a divorce, but Su Lang insisted that we have to hold the wedding. If I still don't change my mind, then we'll get a divorce. But from what I see, Su Lang is too poor to hold a wedding. After seeing this message, Wang Haoran could tell that Su Lang was going to throw away his reputation as a useless son-in-law and reveal his identity as the god of war to win Yang Jingwan's heart. But was it really that simple? Young Master Wang, Are you free tomorrow? Wan. I'm afraid I can't. I work during the day, and I have to try on wedding dresses after work. Young Master Wang, it's fine. We can meet at the wedding dress shop. Wan. Ah, how can that be? Young Master Wang. Can't we just pretend that we don't know each other? Wan. If we want to meet, we can meet somewhere else. Why must we meet at the wedding dress shop? Young Master Wang. I really want to see you in a wedding dress. When Yang Jingwan saw this message, her heart bloomed with joy. She quickly typed a reply. Wan. Okay, you can come then. I'll show you in a wedding dress. Young Master Wang. Then, I'll pick you up tomorrow. Wan. Okay. At 1 o'clock in the morning, Qin Yunhan had fallen into a deep sleep. Wang Haoran communicated with the system and opened the panel to check. After these days of hard work, he had accumulated 11,900 villain points. It was time to spend. The shameless war god was a little special. Piling up skills wasn't of much use. For the time being, Wang Haoran was too lazy to exchange for skills, so he spent 500 villain points, intending to try his luck at drawing a prize. Unfortunately, the host did not draw any rewards. Do you want to continue using 500 villain points to draw rewards? Yes. Unfortunately, the host did not draw any rewards. Do you want to continue using 500 villain points to draw rewards? Continue. Unfortunately, the host did not draw any rewards. Do you want to continue using 500 villain points to draw rewards? F*CK continue. Ding. Congratulations to the host for drawing Flying Dragon's Cloud Searching Hand, worth 2,000 villain points. Do you wish to use it now? Wang Haoran was a little depressed. This time, he had spent 3,000 villain points, but he had only drawn a skill that was worth 2,000 villain points. He had lost 1,000 villain points. Wang Haoran immediately used the skill and checked the description of Flying Dragon's Cloud Searching Hand. But without the other party noticing, there is a 100% chance of stealing anything from the other party. Note, it only works on people whose combat power is lower than the host's. Looking at the description, Wang Haoran was even more disappointed. It turned out to be a stealing skill, and it could only steal things from people whose combat power was lower than the host's. It seemed to be quite useless. My combat power is higher than others. I can do whatever I want to them. Why would I need to steal things from them? However, the only highlight of the stealing skill was that it could steal anything from the other party. Anything, including clothes. Just imagine if this skill was used on a woman. This was a rogue skill. The next morning, Yang Jingwan was eating breakfast while looking at the wedding dress on her phone. From time to time, a bright smile would appear at the corner of her mouth. Su Lang walked over at this time. When he saw Yang Jingwan's actions and expression, he was very happy. His wife still cares about him. She said that she didn't want to look at the wedding dress, but she was still very happy to go. Otherwise, she wouldn't have giggled while looking at the wedding dress. Are you a ghost? How come you don't make any sound when you walk? Yang Jingwan noticed that someone was standing next to her and immediately turned off the phone screen. I didn't see anything. Su Lang was not angry after being scolded. Instead, he was quite happy and didn't expose Yang Jingwan's thoughts. In his opinion, his wife was too prideful. She was obviously willing to try on the wedding dress, but she pretended to be reluctant on the surface. Now that she was caught red-handed, she still looked anxious. When Yang Jingwan saw Su Lang's expression, she felt inexplicable, but she quietly breathed a sigh of relief. She had an appointment with Wang Haoran to look at the wedding dress together. Of course, she had to look at the style first, find the one she liked the most, and show it to Wang Haoran. However, Su Lang saw her strange behavior. Of course, she was afraid that Su Lang would find out something. But fortunately, Su Lang was silly and didn't notice anything at all. He was still giggling. This was exactly what Yang Jingwan wanted. After breakfast, Yang Jingwan immediately set off for work. Su Lang returned to his small bedroom and took out a Dusty Supreme global card from the drawer. There were only 50 of this card in the world. Only people with a very high status could apply for a card here. Su Lang had one. This card had a limit of 5 billion yuan. It was more than enough for a luxurious wedding. He was going to try on the wedding dress with Yang Jingwan today, so he naturally had to use this card. A day passed quietly, and soon it was evening. Wang Haoran drove to Yang Jingwan's real estate sales department early and waited outside. There were also some cars waiting outside. They were probably here to pick someone up from work. Prestigious wedding dress store, let's go. After work, Yang Jingwan excitedly got into Wang Haoran's car. After fastening her seatbelt, she smiled at him. Sit tight, Wang Haoran reminded her. He stepped on the gas, and the McLaren flew out. What kind of wedding dress do you like? Yang Jingwan asked. With your figure, you look good in anything, Wang Haoran praised. I'm just a little confused, so I wanted to ask you. Can you give me some advice? I'll give you my opinion after I take a look at the store. Okay. Chapter 162. Wang Haoran drove the car while chatting with Yang Jingwan. At this time, there was a red light ahead. He quickly slowed down and stopped the car in front of the stop line. It was rush hour now. There were a lot of cars on the road. The waiting time for the red light was quite long. It was 90 seconds. Wang Haoran was a little bored waiting. He looked around casually and found a Lang E car that was waiting outside the sales department with him. However, he didn't care. He just thought that the other party was going the same way as him. But after passing several junctions, while waiting for the red light, the car was still following. Wang Haoran felt that something was wrong, so he looked with his X-ray vision. He only saw two men in the car. They were about 30 years old. They were dressed in suits and looked like ordinary office workers. There was nothing wrong with them. Do you have male employees in the sales department? Wang Haoran asked Yang Jingwan. No. Why are you suddenly asking this? Yang Jingwan was curious. Nothing, just asking casually. Wang Haoran responded vaguely, but in his heart, he was already certain that there was something wrong with these two people. Thinking of this, he suddenly changed the route and drove the car to the road where there were few people. Soon, the McLaren came to a suburban road. This isn't the way to the famous wedding dress shop. You're going the wrong way, Yang Jingwan reminded. Of course I know I'm going the wrong way. Wang Haoran looked embarrassed. I have a little stomachache, so I wanted to come here to relieve myself. Oh, then go quickly. Yang Jingwan nodded quickly. Wang Haoran took some paper from the car and went to the tall and dense weeds on the side of the road. His figure quickly disappeared into the grass. However, he didn't go into the grass to relieve himself. Instead, he used the cover of the grass to see the situation behind the McLaren with his X-ray vision. Sure enough, the problematic Lang E stopped 50 meters away from the McLaren. In addition to the Lang E, there was a Toyota Corolla 200 meters away. There was only an ordinary man in his 30s in the Corolla. At this time, the man got out of the car, opened the hood, and fiddled with something. Looking at his actions, it seemed that the car had broken down. However, Wang Haoran's X-ray vision had a long-range function. He could see very clearly that the man was pretending. In fact, the car did not break down at all. It seemed that this Corolla also had a problem. Wang Haoran originally thought that there was only one car following them, but it turned out that there were two. Unfortunately, the Corolla was too far away. If Wang Haoran possessed a skill like X-ray vision, he wouldn't have been able to discover it. The reason Wang Haoran lured them here was naturally to get rid of their tail. However, he did not expect that there would be two groups of people following him. These fellows were sneaky, so they must have come with ill intentions. Go and interrogate them to see what their purpose was. With this thought in mind, Wang Haoran used the dense underbrush by the roadside as cover and quickly moved toward the Corolla. The two people on Lang Yi's side were within Carol's field of vision. If he were to first deal with the people on Lang Yi's side, he would definitely be discovered by the people behind him. Thus, Wang Haoran directly placed his first target on the Corolla side. The man following them in the Corolla was Su Lang's subordinate, Shadow. At this moment, he pretended to open the car's hood while holding a phone in his hand and dialed Su Lang's number. Sir, there are two fish following me. They seem to want to harm your wife. Big fish or small fish? Two small fish. Deal with them. Do it cleanly. Yes, sir. There's also, what else? Just say it. Don't stutter. I noticed that your wife and... His voice abruptly stopped. Hey, speak. And what? Su Lang asked. However, what responded to him was the beeping sound of the phone being hung up. Su Lang immediately frowned. He was afraid that something would happen to Yang Jingwan. Thus, he immediately called her. However, Yang Jingwan answered the call, as usual, and said that she was on the way to the bridal shop. Su Lang didn't think too much about it. He just thought that Shadow noticed that something was wrong and immediately made a move on the two small fish. After hanging up the phone, Su Lang excitedly rode his scooter to the bridal shop. Ding! The host has dealt with the main character Su Lang's important subordinate, Shadow. Gained 500 villain points. Su Lang's main character, Aura, -20. Host villain, Aura, +20. So, it's the shameless war god's subordinate. Wang Howren looked at the fainted Shadow with a slight smile on his face. He originally planned to interrogate, but after hearing Shadow's call, he immediately understood the identity and purpose of these two groups of people. However, Wang Howren didn't plan to take the initiative to make a move on the two people on Lang Yi. Since these two people came for Yang Jingwan, why not take the opportunity to show off? With this thought, Wang Howren immediately returned to his previous position. He came out of the bushes and pretended to have just finished relieving himself. What's wrong? Do you still feel uncomfortable? Yang Jingwan asked with concern. Much better. Wang Howren smiled and prepared to get on the car. The Lang Yi behind accelerated and drove over, using its body to block McLaren's front. The two men on the Lang Yi covered their faces and got off the car. Come with us obediently. The two directly ignored Wang Howren and opened the car door as they spoke to Yang Jingwan. You? Who are you? Yang Jingwan was so scared that her face turned pale. You don't need to worry about that. Just come with us. Please. One of the men made a gesture of inviting her in. They wanted to take Yang Jingwan as a hostage to threaten War God. However, because of War God's power, they didn't dare to go too far and be rude to Yang Jingwan. Do? If you want to take her away, you have to over my dead body first. Wang Howren saw that the opportunity to show off was here and naturally stood up. However, his face was very scared, but he pretended to be brave. In order to get a better effect of being a hero, saving the damsel in distress, Wang Howren didn't want to reveal too much fighting strength. Although it was cool and handsome to get rid of the bad guys cleanly from the perspective of gaining sympathy and goodwill, it wasn't as good as risking his life to get rid of the bad guys. Think about it. A woman already liked this man a lot, and this man risked his life to protect this woman when she was in danger. How could this woman not be moved to death? Under Yang Jingwan's fearful emotions, Wang Howren finally managed to get rid of the two people who wanted to harm Yang Jingwan after a difficult fight. However, Wang Howren's injuries weren't light either. Other than his face, his entire body was covered in bruises. When Yang Jingwan saw this, her tears began to fall. She was about to cry herself to tears. Ding! The female lead Yang Jingwan's affability towards the host has increased by 15. Current affability is 90, unchanging until death. Ding! The host has seriously affected the plot. Received 800 villain points. Su Lang's protagonist Aura -40. The host's villain Aura +40. Chapter 163. Don't cry, I'm fine. Seeing Yang Jingwan crying like a pear blossom in the rain, Wang Howren immediately comforted her. You're still saying you're fine. You look at your body. You're not covered in bruises. How could you be fine? Yang Jingwan was crying so hard that she couldn't catch her breath. She was stuttering as she spoke. My body is strong. I'm really fine. Let's get out of here before those two come back. Wang Howren tried to scare her. When Yang Jingwan heard this, she immediately stopped crying. Can you still drive? I'm fine, Wang Howren nodded. Seeing this, Yang Jingwan immediately helped him into the car and sat in the front passenger seat. The car started, and they quickly left the suburbs. Let's not go to the bridal shop. I'll go to the hospital with you for a checkup. Yang Jingwan was still worried. It's just some scratches. It's nothing serious. I'll apply some medicine when I get back, and it'll be fine in a few days, Wang Howren said. The so-called bruises on his body were actually caused by his true qi. He purposely acted pitiful, but in reality, he wasn't hurt at all. Acting was acting. He wasn't going to get beaten up for real. If it hurts too much, you have to go to the hospital to get it checked out, in case there are any sequelae. Yang Jingwan was still a little nervous, so she reminded him. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Let's go to the bridal shop first, Wang Haoran insisted. Yang Jingwan's favorability towards him had already reached 90, so even if he asked for too much, Yang Jingwan would most likely agree. Since things were already like this, he naturally had to do something. Even if he couldn't give Mr. Su a complete hat, he had to at least give him half a hat, right? Hearing Wang Haoran's words, Yang Jingwan felt a little relieved, but then she remembered what had just happened and couldn't help but feel a little scared. I wonder who those two people are and why they want to capture me. In my opinion, it's very likely that Yu Yan is still angry about being fired, so she sent someone to deal with you. Wang Haoran didn't want Su Lang to reveal this to Yang Jingwan for the time being, so he lied. The people that wanted to deal with Yang Jingwan were actually Su Lang's enemies. Dealing with them was equivalent to solving Young Su's problem. This was also one of the reasons why Wang Haoran only pretended to chase them away and did not finish them off. This Yu Yan is really too evil. Hearing Wang Haoran's words, Yang Jingwan didn't doubt him. She immediately assumed that Yu Yan was the mastermind. From what Yang Jingwan knew, she had only offended Yu Yan. Don't make this matter public for now, lest Young Su finds out about our private meeting. I'll deal with this matter, Wang Haoran instructed. Yang Jingwan nodded obediently. 20 minutes later, McLaren arrived in the vicinity of the prestigious wedding dress store. In order to avoid being seen, Wang Haoran found a place to park the car and told Yang Jingwan to get out first. Yang Jingwan walked for a few minutes and soon arrived at the entrance of Prestige Wedding Gown. The entrance was very grand and luxurious. Inside the glass display windows, there were many beautiful wedding gowns. After taking a few glances, Yang Jingwan was a little dazed. She couldn't wait to try them on. Previously, she had only seen pictures online. Now that she saw the real thing, she had a completely different feeling. Women often had a special yearning for wedding gowns. Honey, Su Lang, who had been waiting for a long time, immediately ran over as soon as he saw Yang Jingwan appear at the entrance. Yang Jingwan was originally in a state of longing. She imagined herself wearing a wedding gown and holding hands with Wang Haoran. However, Su Lang interrupted her thoughts. This made her very unhappy. You can choose any wedding gown here. You can buy whichever one you like, Su Lang said. How much money do you have to buy whatever you want? Aren't you afraid of biting your tongue? Yang Jingwan glanced sideways at Su Lang. Don't worry, I definitely have enough money. Yang Jingwan snorted but didn't respond. She simply hurried into the wedding gown shop. Seeing this, Su Lang couldn't help but feel happy. His wife looked reluctant, but her actions were obviously impatient. She wanted to try on a wedding gown for him. It seemed that the past year of cooking for her and taking care of her was quite effective. Although she had a bad attitude towards him on the surface, she liked him very much in her heart. With this thought, Su Lang was in a good mood. His footsteps were a lot lighter as he immediately walked into the wedding gown shop. Yang Jingwan walked through the wedding gown shop and looked at the dazzling array of wedding gowns. For a moment, she was dazzled. She didn't know which one to choose. Su Lang was like a shadow as he followed beside Yang Jingwan. After waiting for a long time, Yang Jingwan still hadn't made a decision. Honey, I think that one looks good. Why don't you try it on? Su Lang pointed at a wedding gown and suggested. Your taste is too tacky. I don't want that one. Yang Jingwan looked in the direction Su Lang was pointing and pouted. Miss Yang, I think this fishtail wedding gown suits you better. At this time, Wang Haoran, who was wandering around the wedding gown shop, suddenly walked over and said, Do we know you that well? Su Lang looked at Wang Haoran and furrowed his brows as he spoke coldly. He had met Wang Haoran once at the cocktail party and had a bad impression of Wang Haoran. Su Lang, we met young Master Wang last time, so we kind of know each other. What's with your attitude? How rude. Before Wang Haoran could respond, Yang Jingwan couldn't help but criticize him. What bullsh** young Master Wang. Someone like him doesn't have the right to know me, Su Lang said arrogantly. He didn't even bother to look at Wang Haoran. Su Lang, you're too rude. Hurry and apologize. Yang Jingwan said sternly. Honey, you don't have to give face to this rich second-generation heir. Su Lang thought Yang Jingwan was being protective because she was afraid of Wang Haoran's identity. You're unreasonable. Yang Jingwan was annoyed. She couldn't be bothered to reason with Su Lang. She turned around and apologized to Wang Haoran. I'm sorry, young Master Wang. You just like that. He has no manners. Please don't take it to heart. Oomph. Su Lang turned his head to the side and looked away. He didn't take Wang Haoran seriously at all. Su Lang, can you call the shop assistant over? I want to try on this fishtail wedding dress. Yang Jingwan said to Su Lang. What's so good about this fishtail wedding dress? Choose something else. Su Lang strongly objected to Wang Haoran's suggestion. If you keep nagging, I won't try on the dress, Yang Jingwan threatened. Okay, I'll go. Su Lang couldn't argue with her, so he immediately went to call the shop assistant. While Su Lang was out of sight, Yang Jingwan looked at Wang Haoran tenderly. If only it was just you and me here. Isn't it just you and me? Wang Haoran looked around and saw that there was no one else around, so he moved a little closer to Yang Jingwan. Yang Jingwan's heart raced as she looked down shyly. Su Lang, who had gone to look for the shop assistant, came back and stood in front of Yang Jingwan. Why is your face so red? Su Lang asked in surprise. It's too hot in here. There's air conditioning. I don't think it's hot at all, Su Lang wondered. I think it's a little hot. Is there a problem? Yang Jingwan said impatiently. Should I get someone to turn down the air conditioning? Su Lang asked with concern. No need. Yang Jingwan pouted. Chapter 164. At this time, the salesgirl that Su Lang called over also arrived. She removed the fishtail wedding dress from the model stand. Madam, you really have good taste. This wedding dress matches your temperament so well. The salesgirl praised from the bottom of her heart. She then gestured in another direction. That's the fitting room. Do you need my help? Thank you. I can change on my own. Yang Jingwan declined. Okay. The salesgirl nodded. She then glanced at Wang Haoran and Su Lang and suddenly said to the former, Sir, there's a matching suit for this fishtail wedding dress. Would you like to try it on? On the side, Yang Jingwan was a little surprised. She immediately praised the salesgirl in her heart. This salesgirl really has good taste. On the other hand, Su Lang's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. Are you blind? I'm her husband. Su Lang said unhappily to the salesgirl. Huh. Sorry, I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. The salesgirl hurriedly bowed and apologized. In the future, be more careful, Su Lang reprimanded again. The salesgirl apologized again, but in her heart, she felt that this wasn't her fault. Yang Jingwan and Wang Haoran were a perfect match. They looked like a match made in heaven. On the other hand, Su Lang looked ordinary and wasn't a good match for Yang Jingwan. However, she would only keep this to herself. Naturally, she wouldn't say it out loud. Sir, would you like to try on that suit? The salesgirl asked again. Go get it, Su Lang humphed. Yes. The salesgirl quickly brought the suit over. Come and help me. Su Lang didn't know how to tie a tie, so he said to the salesgirl. The salesgirl nodded and followed Su Lang to the fitting room. I'm going to change into the wedding dress. Seeing that there was no one around, Yang Jingwan said sweetly to Wang Haoran and walked towards the fitting room. However, Wang Haoran followed her in and locked the door behind him. Why are you here too? Yang Jingwan was frightened. Look, there's a zipper at the back of this wedding dress. I was afraid that you wouldn't be able to reach it. So I want to help you, Wang Haoran said. Oh, Yang Jingwan nodded. She then said reservedly, then you can turn around. Wang Haoran did not move. He simply stared at Yang Jingwan without blinking. Yang Jingwan was a little flustered, but she quickly rejoiced. It looks pretty good. Yang Su had already changed into the formal attire. He turned around in front of the full-length mirror in the store and was quite satisfied. Sir, you look so handsome in this dress. The salesgirl complimented. Am I not handsome if I don't wear this dress? Su Lang snorted and asked. Handsome too. The female shop assistant revealed a professional smile, but in her heart, she thought to herself, this person really doesn't know his place. Don't you know if you're handsome or not? Hey, my wife hasn't changed in her wedding dress yet. Su Lang asked. Of course, women take longer to change clothes than men, especially when it's a wedding dress, the salesgirl smiled. Su Lang thought it made sense, so he waited. However, after waiting for nearly 20 minutes, he still didn't see Yang Jingwan. Her phone was turned off, and he couldn't get through. Honey, are you in there? Honey, are you in there? Su Lang couldn't sit still anymore, so he knocked on the doors of the fitting rooms one by one. A door that wasn't closed was pushed open by Su Lang. He saw an unfamiliar man and woman in disheveled clothes. The woman was so scared that she screamed. When the salesgirl saw this scene, she wasn't surprised. She quickly closed the door that Su Lang opened. Su Lang's expression didn't look good. He planned to continue knocking on other doors. Sir, calm down. Your wife must be changing into her wedding dress. She's definitely not doing anything else. The salesgirl saw Su Lang's gloomy expression and was afraid that he would lose control, so she immediately comforted him. What nonsense are you talking about? My wife is educated and reasonable. She's a very conservative woman. She only loves you. How could she do something like this? I'm just worried that she hasn't come out for so long. She might be in danger, Su Lang scolded. Then leave it to me. Sir, you're a man. It's easy for people to think that you're a pervert. Let me do it. I'm a woman, so it's more convenient, the salesgirl suggested. Hurry up, Su Lang urged. Okay. The salesgirl quickly nodded. She knocked on the doors of the fitting rooms one by one and quickly found Yang Jingwan's room. Yang Jingwan, who was wearing a white fishtail wedding dress, opened the door of the fitting room a little and walked out. She covered her mouth and coughed a few times. Honey, what's wrong? Su Lang asked with concern. Cough. Water. Get water, Yang Jingwan mumbled as she coughed. Right away. Su Lang quickly ran to get water. Madam, are you okay? The salesgirl saw that Yang Jingwan's face was red from coughing, so she looked at her with concern. Here's the water. Su Lang came over with a bottle of mineral water. After Yang Jingwan drank the water, her face looked a lot better and she stopped coughing. What happened just now? Su Lang quickly asked. My head is a little uncomfortable. I just felt like the world was spinning. Yang Jingwan was so nervous that her heart almost jumped to her throat, but she explained calmly on the surface. No wonder you took so long to change into the wedding dress, Su Lang suddenly realized. Hey, I knew it. The wedding dress you chose was so beautiful. Wang Haoran appeared out of nowhere and complimented Yang Jingwan. No matter how beautiful she is, she's still my wife. It has nothing to do with you. Don't come over, Su Lang said to Wang Haoran unhappily. Yes, she's your wife. It has nothing to do with me. Wang Haoran couldn't help but laugh. Yang Jingwan lowered her head and secretly glanced at Wang Haoran. In her heart, she thought this guy was so naughty. She was still scared out of her wits. But now that she thought about it, she felt it was quite exciting. This mermaid wedding dress gives off a noble and mature feeling. The design concept is slim and narrow. The wide design below the knee is like a mermaid's tail. It can really show off your figure. Are you satisfied with it? The salesgirl asked with a smile. I'll choose this wedding dress, Yang Jingwan decided. She didn't take this wedding to heart. She could just pick a random wedding dress. Naturally, she was too lazy to pick one. Okay, the salesgirl smiled brightly. Yang Jingwan took off her wedding dress. Su Lang also took off his suit and asked the salesgirl to wrap it all up. Madam, this is the check. The salesgirl led Yang Jingwan to the cashier. Chapter 165. Wang Haoran saw that Su Lang and Yang Jingwan had gone to pay the bill, but he didn't follow them. Instead, he found a comfortable spot and stood a distance away, ready to watch a face-slapping show. While waiting, he revealed a teasing smile and reached his hand into his pocket. What entered his hand was a black card with a frosted texture. Hello, madam. A mermaid wedding dress and a man's suit. The total is $1. 98 million, the cashier said with a smile. What? $1. 98 million. Yang Jingwan didn't pay attention to the price, so when she heard the cashier's words, she couldn't help but jump in fright. He had just received his commission from selling his house last month. Right now, he had around $1. 5 million in his card. Even if he took this money out, it wouldn't be enough to pay the bill. I want to look at other wedding dresses. I don't want this wedding dress for now, Yang Jingwan said to the cashier awkwardly. This wedding dress suits you very well. The dress is already packed. Why do you suddenly not want it? The cashier saw the situation and quickly tried to persuade her. However, when she noticed the expression on Yang Jingwan's face, She immediately understood. Oh, seeing how straightforward you were, I thought you were rich. After all this time, it turns out you don't have the money to pay. The cashier had always thought that Su Lang and Yang Jingwan were rich, so she was polite. When she found out that they couldn't pay, her expression turned sour. I'm sorry, I really didn't pay attention to the price. I'm sorry. Yang Jingwan smiled apologetically. You didn't look at the price, but you saw the sparkling diamonds on it. Just by looking at the diamonds, you can tell that it's not cheap. Also, the gold thread on it. You didn't think that the diamonds and gold thread were fake, did you? The cashier said. Hearing this, Yang Jingwan wanted to find a hole to hide in. She really did think that it was fake. You're looking down on me. Isn't it just $1? 98 million? Do you think I can't afford it? Su Lang saw that Yang Jingwan was being wronged, so he immediately sneered and said to the cashier, Mr. Su, don't embarrass yourself. Hurry and shut up. Yang Jingwan thought he was just putting on an act in a moment of anger. Honey, don't worry. Since you like this wedding dress, I will buy it for you today, no matter what. Su Lang comforted her. This female shop assistant had suffered a lot from Su Lang just now. She apologized and apologized. Previously, she thought that the two of them were rich, so she was willing to endure it. But now, she couldn't bear it anymore. After hearing what Su Lang said to Yang Jingwan, the saleswoman said in a strange tone, Don't say so much. Hurry up and buy it. I will definitely buy it, but don't even think about the commission. Su Lang decided to teach this female shop assistant a lesson. You speak as if you can afford it. Why don't you hurry up and buy it? The female shop assistant sneered. Ant-like thing, I'll let you see. Su Lang was furious. He reached into his pocket and wanted to take out the Global Supreme Black card that only had 50 cards in the world. However, after searching for a long time, he couldn't find anything. What's going on? Su Lang was puzzled. He remembered clearly putting it in this pocket. How did it disappear? He must have remembered wrongly. He searched another pocket. There was nothing. He searched another pocket. There was still nothing. Soon, he finished searching his shirt and trouser pockets. There wasn't even a strand of hair. Not good, it must have been dropped. Su Lang's expression changed slightly, and he immediately confirmed it. He remembered that when he left the house, he had the black card on him. Now that it was gone, it must have been dropped. As for why he didn't think that it was stolen, it was actually very simple. This was because he was the war god. How could anyone steal from the war god? Ding! The host used Flying Dragon Cloud Searching Hand to steal the black card of the protagonist Su Lang, causing the protagonist Su Lang to fail in acting cool. Received 500 villain points. Su Lang's protagonist aura -20. Host's villain aura +20. Wang Haoran received his reward as he wished. What are you doing? Are you scratching yourself? Hurry up and pay the bill. The female shop assistant urged. I lost my Global Supreme Black card. I can't pay for now. But once I find the black card, I will definitely come and pay, Su Lang said seriously. On the side, Yang Jingwan directly covered her eyes. This Su Lang really got carried away with his bragging. At a time like this, he was still talking nonsense. How could a piece of trash like Su Lang have a Global Supreme Black card? Don't embarrass yourself. Yang Jingwan didn't have the face to stay any longer. After angrily saying this to Su Lang, she lowered her head and left in a hurry. Night fell. Su Lang came back on his scooter. Yang Jingwan came back in a taxi and came back earlier than Su Lang. As soon as she came back, she couldn't help but complain to Li Monli and Yang Tai about going to the bridal store. You piece of trash. It's bad enough that you went there to embarrass yourself, but you even dragged Jingwan with you. Is there something wrong with you? Li Monli yelled at Su Lang, who had just come in. That's right. You didn't have money, yet you still brought Jingwan to look at bridal dresses. Look at your head. Yang Tai couldn't help but criticize. Yang Jingwan glared at Su Lang, but didn't say anything. If looks could kill, Su Lang would have died 1,000,000 times already. As soon as she thought about the awkward situation at the bridal store, she felt like she was going to go crazy. Honey, listen to me. I actually have money. It's just that my card suddenly fell out. Su Lang quickly explained. That's enough. How dare you say you have money? I think you're delusional. Yang Jingwan said angrily. I think we should forget about the wedding. You can't even afford a wedding dress. So what's the point of having a wedding? Let's just get a divorce. I will buy the wedding dress as soon as possible. The wedding will continue, Su Lang insisted. I'll only give you one day. If you don't bring the wedding dress back by this time tomorrow, then there's nothing to talk about. Let's get a divorce. Yang Jingwan didn't have the patience to waste time with Su Lang, so she made a condition. After speaking, she immediately added, I want the mermaid wedding dress that I like. I don't want a cheap one. Okay, I'll take that one. Okay, let's hurry and make dinner. We're all hungry, Li Monli said. The divorce was inevitable, but Li Monli still wanted to squeeze Su Lang dry. Right away, Su Lang was already used to it. As soon as he heard this, he immediately ran to the kitchen to make dinner. Jingwan, how far have you and young Master Wang progressed? Li Monli secretly asked since Su Lang wasn't around. We're still normal friends. Yang Jingwan paused for a moment before replying. I gave birth to you. Do you think I don't know you? Whenever you lie, you tug at the corner of your shirt. Li Monli lowered her voice and probed. Have you guys already? Hearing this, Yang Jingwan finally realized what she was doing. She immediately replied with a red face. We haven't reached that stage yet. Really? Li Monli looked at her suspiciously. We really haven't. Yang Jingwan repeated. You silly child, why don't you take the initiative? Li Monli said impatiently. Mom, you don't worry about it. After all, we're doing very well right now. As Yang Jingwan spoke, she couldn't help but recall some scenes. The more she thought about it, the redder her face became. But then again, her mouth was still a little sore, and her throat was a little uncomfortable. Chapter 166. In a hotel suite, Wang Haoren listened to the conversation between Su Lang, Yang Jingwan, and the others. He was deep in thought. Su Lang's current global supreme black card was gone. If he wanted to replace it, it would take at least half a month according to the procedure. In other words, Su Lang would not be able to use the money on the black card for at least half a month. But from Su Lang's words, the wedding would definitely go on. But money was a problem. Su Lang would definitely get the money. But where would he get it from? Ma Hongsheng was unconscious and couldn't help him at all. However, Ma Hongsheng still had two spokespersons. One was Ma Weikai, but now Ma Weikai was in trouble and couldn't come out for the time being. So there was only Cheng Rue left. After clearing his thoughts, Wang Haoren immediately took out his phone and dialed Cheng Rue's number. After 2 rings, Cheng Rue picked up the phone. He didn't know if Cheng Rue happened to be fiddling with her phone or if she picked up the phone immediately after seeing the call. What's the matter? The night is long. Can Madam sleep? Wang Haoren said with a smile. If you have something to say it quickly. If not, I'm hanging up. Cheng Rue's tone sounded a little cold. Wang Haoren secretly smiled and suddenly became silent. He didn't speak. Cheng Rue didn't speak either, but she didn't hang up. It seems that Madam still wants to talk to me. Wang Haoren exposed her thoughts. I have nothing to talk to you about. Cheng Rue's tone still sounded a little unapproachable. But I do want to talk to Madam. Wang Haoren wasn't discouraged and said slowly with a masculine voice. Cheng Rue was silent for a while. After a long time, she said, What do you want to talk to me about? Her tone was obviously much softer and gentler. You've made me wait for too long. I suddenly don't want to talk. Wang Haoren deliberately kept her in suspense. You. Cheng Rue's breathing obviously became heavier with a hint of embarrassment. All right, let's get down to business. Wang Haoren couldn't be bothered to tease her anymore. He suddenly cut to the chase. Do you still remember that mysterious young man? I do. Why did you suddenly mention him? You should know that Ma Hongsheng is very respectful to him. However, Ma Hongsheng is currently unconscious and cannot provide him with any help. Therefore, it is very likely that he will let you replace Ma Hongsheng's position and do something for him. Who is he? I won't reveal the details. You just need to know that he's not someone you can afford to offend. What do you want me to do when he comes looking for me? Just do as he says. However, I hope you can record the process of instructing you. You should understand what I mean, right? I'll leave something to use against him. It's easy to talk to smart people. However, I still have a doubt. You said it yourself that I can't afford to offend this person. If I help you deal with him and he finds out, won't I be in danger? Don't worry. You have value to him. Even if he finds out, nothing will happen to you. However, with your cautiousness, I believe you won't give yourself away. Of course. Chung Rue smiled proudly. However, she suddenly changed the topic and said with some ridicule, "However, aren't you afraid that I'll turn around and betray my promise with you? Do you have the heart to betray me?" Wang Haoran asked with a smile. 100 points of favorability was no joke. Previously, Chung Rue had already put on a show to protect herself. He really wasn't worried that Chung Rue would betray him. However, this Chung Rue was very good at controlling her emotions. To put it bluntly, she was stubborn and unwilling to reveal her inner thoughts. Maybe not now. However, if you continue to flirt with me in the middle of the night, then you have to be careful, Chung Rue said with a gloomy voice. Okay, then after 10 o'clock, I won't call to disturb you anymore. Bye. Wang Haoran directly hung up the phone. Beep, beep, beep. When Chung Rue heard the busy tone from the phone, she was instantly annoyed. Her actions could be described as shooting herself in the foot. It was the most appropriate way to describe her actions. Originally, she just wanted to provoke Wang Haoran and make Wang Haoran do the opposite and call her late at night to chat. However, Wang Haoran actually went along with her wishes. The next morning, Su Lang's other subordinates arrived at Qingling one after another and reported to Su Lang. Su Lang immediately asked his subordinates to look for news of Ning. Yesterday, when Ning was halfway through his report, he suddenly went silent. Su Lang originally thought that Ning had gone to deal with the two small fish, so he hung up the phone. However, until now, Su Lang still hadn't received any news from Ning. He immediately guessed that something might have happened to Ning. After sending his subordinates to look for Ning, Su Lang went to the market to buy groceries, as usual. In the market, he saw an ugly hunchbacked man walking with a bamboo pole and a cloth in his hand. The words on the cloth were written in flamboyant calligraphy. Those who are fated are free. Those who are not fated are worth 1,000 gold. From the looks of it, he was obviously a fortune teller. When others saw him, they immediately avoided him as if he was a plague. Because this man's face was hideous and as ugly as an evil ghost, when children saw him, they were so scared that they couldn't stop crying. When some people in the market saw this, they immediately chased him away. However, the masked man didn't take it seriously. Instead, he shouted, "With a bright heart, everything will be auspicious. Don't follow the heretical path to yin and yang. Only by distinguishing between the virtuous and the foolish can you find an expert to help you grow." When Su Lang heard this, he slowly walked forward and smiled faintly. "Fortune teller, do you think I'm fated or not? Your appearance is extraordinary. You're definitely not an ordinary person. You must be fated," the masked man said. "Then can you help me calculate how my luck has been recently?" Su Lang took the opportunity to say. The masked man nodded. With a big smile, he looked at Su Lang with his eyes. About 10 seconds later, the smile on his face disappeared and was replaced by a look of panic. "Your Excellency is going to face a bloody disaster in the near future. I'm afraid your life will be in danger. If you want to avoid the disaster, you must leave Qingling as soon as possible," the masked man said seriously. "Ha, we're old friends. You don't have to make such a joke and curse me as soon as we meet, right?" Su Lang couldn't help but laugh. The fortune teller in front of him was a friend he had invited from Qingling, the ghost-faced oracle. "You should know that I never joke." Tianji's expression was solemn. Chapter 167. Seeing Tianji's solemn expression, Su Lang was taken aback for a moment. Then he couldn't help but laugh. "It's not the first time you've said something like this to me, but now, aren't I still alive?" Tianji had divined his fortune at least 5 times before, and each time, he said it was very dangerous. And the truth was just as Tianji said. Su Lang encountered a great crisis. But every time when Su Lang was about to die, his potential would erupt, and he would show his power and kill all the enemies. After a while, when Su Lang heard similar words from Tianji again, he naturally didn't take it seriously. The situation this time may be 10 times or even 100 times more dangerous than usual. It's better to be cautious and leave Qingling as soon as possible, Tianji said solemnly. "That won't do. I'm about to hold a wedding, I can't leave Qing Ling. This danger is very likely to come from the wedding. This wedding can't be held. Leave quickly. Tianji Z persuaded. I made up my mind. No need to say anymore. I know that those guys came to Qing Ling's side. They're just small fries. If they dare to come out and cause trouble, I'll make sure that they won't be able to leave. Su Lang said with a disdainful smile. Sigh. Tianji Z saw Su Lang's expression and understood that persuasion was useless, so he could only sigh deeply. After Su Lang finished shopping, he returned to the apartment. His subordinates also sent him news. An Ing was found, but he became stupid and couldn't say anything. When Su Lang heard this news, he immediately confirmed that it was done by those enemies who heard the news and came to Qing Ling. At that time, An Ing was prepared to deal with two small fries. But looking at the situation, it was obvious that An Ing underestimated the enemy and fell in the hands of the small fries. An Ing was incompetent, and Su Lang was very disappointed in him. However, An Ing was his subordinate, and now that An Ing was in trouble, it was tantamount to slapping his face. No matter what, Su Lang would get back at him. Of course, now was not the time. Su Lang's top priority now was to solve the problem of money. Without money, how could the wedding go on? Moreover, he promised Yang Jingwan that he would get the wedding dress back today. In the afternoon, Wang Haoran took some time to visit Yang Jingwan's workplace. During the break, Yang Jingwan took Wang Haoran to an empty reception room and stayed there for a while. After Wang Haoran received a small reward, he asked, "Is work going well? Did anyone bully you?" The reason why he only received a small reward was because he only gave Su Lang half a hat. Because Su Lang had a special skill, he could tell if Yang Jingwan was still a blank piece of paper. If Su Lang wore this hat, Su Lang would definitely find out. He planned to give Su Lang a fatal blow at the wedding, so he didn't want to alert the enemy now. Yang Jingwan's face was red. After rinsing her mouth with water, she replied, "After the old witch left, everyone thought that I had a backer, and no one dared to bully me anymore. Even a new branch manager was very polite when he saw me." "That's good." Wang Haoran nodded and suddenly asked, "Why did you marry Su Lang back then?" "I'm annoyed when you mention it." Yang Jingwan rubbed her sore mouth and complained, "My family was quite rich before, but for some reason, more than a year ago, a lot of unlucky things happened in a row, so my parents went to the fortune teller to have a look." The more she spoke, the angrier she got. The fortune teller said that my family's bad luck was all because of me. Because I cursed my parents, in order to break it, I had to marry a man with a specific destiny. My parents were obsessed and actually believed it. According to the fortune teller's guidance, they found a homeless man. That homeless man was Su Lang? Wang Haoran asked. Of course it was him, Yang Jingwan said angrily. Hearing this, Wang Haoran fell into deep thought. Su Lang had been the son-in-law of the Yang family for a year. His identity as the god of war couldn't have been created during this time. He must have been the god of war a year ago. But Su Lang appeared in front of the Yang family as a homeless man. There was obviously something wrong with this. Have you ever thought that this might be a conspiracy? Wang Haoran suddenly said to Yang Jingwan. Conspiracy? Yang Jingwan was shocked. You mean my parents deliberately framed me? That's not it. Maybe your parents were also deceived. Maybe there's something wrong with the fortune teller. Then you mean Su Lang bribed the fortune teller? But that's not possible. After I married Su Lang, although my family didn't become rich again, our bad luck was gone. It seems that the fortune teller is quite skilled. Think about it a little deeper. Maybe your family's bad luck was secretly caused by someone? After Yang Jingwan heard this, the more she thought about it, the more scared she became. Her heart was in a mess. When you get home, ask your parents about the details. Then you can tell me, and I'll help you analyze it. Okay, Yang Jingwan nodded. Afternoon. Cheng Rui came out of Ma Hongxing's room and prepared to go back to her room to rest. As soon as she closed the door, she suddenly realized there were two more people in the room. One of them was the mysterious man she had seen before, and the other was a man whose face was as ugly as a devil's. Cheng Rui was shocked. She wanted to open her mouth and scream for help. But the mysterious man was like a ghost. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of her and placed his hand on her neck. Cheng Rui couldn't make a sound and couldn't move her body. Be quiet. I won't hurt you. I just want to talk to you about something. If you agree, blink your eyes, Su Lang said. After a short period of shock, Cheng Rue, who had an excellent psychological quality, quickly calmed down. She blinked and responded to Su Lang. Very good. Su Lang retracted his hand. Cheng Rue was able to speak and regain her mobility. Who are you? Cheng Rue asked cautiously. You don't need to know this. You just need to understand that no matter what kind of crisis you face, I can guarantee your safety, Su Lang said lightly. I'm just an ordinary little woman who knows her place. Who would want to deal with me? Cheng Rue said slowly. In this situation, you can still be so calm. From his point of view, you're not an ordinary woman, Tianjizi said. On the contrary, you're a very ambitious woman who will do anything to achieve her goals. If you were born in ancient times, you would definitely be a poison queen who would cause chaos in the palace. Speaking of this, Tianjizi suddenly sighed. It's just a pity. Chapter 168. What's a pity? Cheng Rue asked subconsciously. A pity that your fate is not good. You force yourself to control the world and ended up in a miserable state. If you want to live, you can only become a man's vassal. That way, you can be rich and live a peaceful life. Otherwise, Divine Predictor said. You, who are you? Cheng Rue met Divine Predictor's ferocious eyes and felt that everything in her heart was seen through by him. She couldn't help but feel a little scared. This is Ghost-Face Divine Predictor. He never misses anything. He never jokes. I suggest you listen to him, Su Lang said in a low voice. Cheng Rue's eyes flashed. According to Divine Predictor, she could only live a peaceful life by becoming a man's vassal. Then who was this man? Was it him? Come to think of it, it couldn't be anyone else other than him. He was indeed her nemesis. She had lived for more than 20 years and had never been disturbed by the feelings between men and women. But after meeting him, she was constantly worried about him. It seems that I have no other choice. Cheng Rue recalled what Wang Haoran said and immediately acquiesced to Su Lang's suggestion. It seems that you'll be a very good subordinate. Su Lang couldn't help but praise. He only thought that the man who made Cheng Rue willing to be his vassal was him. What do you need me to do? Cheng Rue was very smart. She naturally understood that these two people didn't come suddenly just to scare her. They must have something for her to do. I want 2 billion in cash. Su Lang demanded an exorbitant price. Is this a protection fee? Cheng Rue was shocked. You can think of it that way, but it's definitely worth it. Ma Hongsheng is unconscious now. You alone can't protect these assets. But I can help you. I guarantee that no one will dare to have any ideas about these assets of yours. Su Lang said in a condescending tone. Hongsheng has a lot of assets. That's true, but 2 billion in cash all at once. It will take some time. I'll give you 5 days. Also, I need a sum of money urgently. I need it immediately. Cheng Rue couldn't help but feel annoyed. This guy in front of her was simply a robber. But she still remembered Wang Haoran's instructions and didn't turn hostile. Instead, she took out a card. This is my supplementary card. The limit is 200 million. The password is 6666. Woman, you are very obedient. I'm very satisfied with you. Young Su directly took the card, praised it in an arrogant tone, and then swaggered away with Tianjizi. What the hell? After seeing Su Lang and Tianjizi leave, Cheng Rue's face became gloomy and she saved the recording on her phone. Then, she made a call to Wang Haoran. As you expected, the mysterious man who was in contact with Ma Hongsheng came to me with an ugly man. He asked for 2 billion and extorted a 200 million gold card from me, Cheng Rue reported. Did you record the process of extortion? Are you still worried about me? That's good. Wang Haoran smiled, then asked in confusion, You just said that he brought an ugly man. What kind of person is he? They say he's called something like Ghost-Face Divine Physique, Tianjizi. A fortune teller? Yes, he seemed to be able to see through people's hearts. He even helped me calculate, and it was quite accurate. Wang Haoran's mind moved, and he couldn't help but think of the fortune teller that Yang Jingwan mentioned. During this period, he may need your help in a lot of places. Take the opportunity to ask for more information. If there is anything special, remember to inform me. Understood. In the evening, Yang Jingwan returned home from work with a heavy heart. Li Monli was watching a soap opera with great interest. Mom, I have something to ask you. Yang Jingwan saw that young Su hadn't returned yet, so she took the opportunity to ask Li Monli. What's the matter? It's the fortune teller that you found a year ago. How was his ability? His ability is amazing. He was famous in Qingling. It is said that many people who went to him for fortune-telling made a fortune. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gone to him for fortune-telling. Do you think we are stupid? Then where is this fortune-teller now? After you and young Su got married, we went to look for him, but he suddenly disappeared in Qingling ruins. I think he must have gone somewhere else. This kind of expert's whereabouts are erratic. How can it be easy to find him? After I got married, he disappeared in the ruins. Yang Jingwan became more and more suspicious. She immediately returned to her room and dialed Wang Howren's number. She also told him about her conversation with Li Monli. I told you, your marriage with young Su was definitely not a coincidence, Wang Howren said with certainty. But that fortune teller is an expert, and young Su is just a piece of trash who only knows how to brag. How could he order that fortune teller around? Yang Jingwan still had some questions that she didn't get answered. Have you ever thought that young Su's bragging might be true? Wang Howren guided her thoughts. How is this possible? Yang Jingwan was in disbelief. Honey. Just then, young Su's voice came from outside. I'm watching TV. What are you shouting for? Li Monli complained. I brought back the wedding dress and gown. Jingwan, are you back? Young Su asked. Really? You brought it back? Li Monli exclaimed. Yang Jingwan heard the conversation outside, and her heart was in turmoil. The wedding dress and gown cost $98 million. Young Su actually brought it back. Young Su brought back the clothes from the wedding dress shop yesterday. I'll go see if they are real. Keep your phone open. I might find you in the next few days and take you to verify some things. Okay. Yang Jingwan ended the conversation and walked out of the room to the living room. Honey, I brought back the clothes. Can the wedding continue? Young Su pointed at the clothes and said with a smile. Who knows if you brought back a fake? Yang Jingwan humphed and then opened the clothes to check. She was surprised to find that this was indeed the mermaid wedding dress she had seen in the bridal shop yesterday. The diamonds and the golden fishtail were all real and not a replica. These two sets of clothes cost $98 million. Where did you get so much money? You? Who are you? Yang Jingwan looked at young Su in disbelief. You'll naturally find out during the wedding. Young Su revealed an enigmatic smile. He planned to make a beautiful reversal from a useless son-in-law to an invincible war god during the wedding and make Yang Jingwan fall hopelessly in love with him. He didn't want to reveal too much right now. Chapter 169. A few days passed in the blink of an eye. Some people came to Qingling one after another. Among these people, there were Su Lang's friends and enemies. Su Lang's wedding was also being prepared in an orderly manner. Cheng Rui had extraordinary means and took over many of Ma Hongxing's businesses. Among them, there were many objections, but under Su Lang's under-the-table manipulation, these objections were quickly extinguished. In just a few days, 50% of Ma Hongxing's businesses had been in the hands of Cheng Rui. Cheng Rui's influence was also rising day by day. The wedding preparations, as well as the reception of the guests invited by Su Lang, were inseparable from Cheng Rui's help. Cheng Rui also learned a lot of news as a result, and all this news naturally reached Wang Howren's ears. At the entrance of a market in Qingling, there was a small stall. Next to the stall, there was a piece of trigram hanging high, and the words on it read, "Those who are fated are free. Those who are not fated are worth 1,000 gold." In front of the stall, there was an ugly man sitting. Ordinary people would avoid him when they see him. Therefore, few people came to this stall for fortune-telling. This ugly man was ghost-faced divine aspect Tian Jizi. He had a bit of an occupational disease. If he didn't read people's fortune for a day, he would feel uncomfortable all over. Today, he was bored staying in the hotel arranged by Cheng Rui, so he wandered to the market and wanted to read people's fortune. However, he had been here for almost an hour, and not a single person came to get their fortune told. But he didn't care, because his fortune-telling didn't look at money, but fate. He preferred to read the fortune of those who were fated and didn't like to read the fortune of those who were not fated. Those who avoided him were naturally all unfated. The sun was just right. Divine Predictor closed his eyes and took a nap, waiting for the fated one. Not long after, he suddenly heard footsteps approaching. When he opened his eyes, he saw a handsome man in his 20s sitting in front of his stall. "Guest, what do you want to know?" Divine Predictor asked. "I didn't come here to ask you for a fortune-telling, but to ask you something." "What's the matter? Have you ever lied when you read people's fortune in your life?" "Never." "Are you sure, sir? Not even once?" Tianji Zi's expression froze. After a few seconds of silence, he immediately ordered the guest to leave. "Since you're not here for fortune-telling, then please leave." "Indeed, I'm not here for fortune-telling, but I have a friend who would like to have his fortune told." As soon as his voice fell, a beautiful woman walked over from behind and stopped in front of Tianji. When Tianji saw this beautiful woman, his face immediately stiffened. Throughout his life, he had only told a lie once, and it was because of that lie that he had deceived a woman. That woman was the one in front of him. This handsome man and beautiful woman were none other than Wang Haoran and Yang Jingwan. "Mister, can you read my friend's fortune? Is her fate incompatible with her parents?" Wang Haoran sneered at Tianji. Tianji was somewhat speechless, not knowing how to answer. "You were the one that lied to my parents, weren't you?" Yang Jingwan asked angrily as she clenched her fists. Tianji still didn't speak. He still chose to remain silent. "Why aren't you talking? Say something. What is your relationship with Su Lang? Why did you collude with him to harm me?" Yang Jingwan's tears flowed down from the corners of her eyes. Tianji let out a long sigh. Back then, he had calculated the marriage fate of Su Lang and Yang Jingwan. From the probability, the two of them were likely to be happy for the rest of their lives. If that was the case, even though he lied, he would feel comforted in his heart. However, judging from Yang Jingwan's attitude at this time, Su Lang and Yang Jingwan's marriage line had obviously gone astray and was developing toward a small probability. He had committed a sin. "Mister, you always read people's fortunes. Why don't you read your own fortune today?" Wang Haoran saw that Tianji was still silent and said with a smile. Tianji looked at Wang Haoran's eyes and couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart, because he felt a strong sense of oppression from Wang Haoran. He had also experienced a similar feeling from Su Lang. However, Wang Haoran's sense of oppression was much stronger than Su Lang's. Tianji immediately determined that this seemingly harmless handsome man was definitely not a simple character. Thinking so, he immediately pinched his fingers and calculated his own fortune. 10 seconds later, Tianji's hand movement straightened, and his face was suddenly full of horror. This was a great omen of misfortune. "Mister, are you done?" Wang Haoran asked with a smile. "What I owed Su Lang, I've paid him back. Now I have decided to sever all ties with Su Lang. I will leave Qingling as soon as possible and never appear here for the rest of my life." Tianji said seriously. He calculated that he had a great omen of misfortune, but it was not certain death, and there was still a possibility of evasion. Ding! The host successfully intimidated, causing the protagonist camp Tianji to leave the protagonist Su Lang camp. The host received 500 villain points, Su Lang's protagonist aura a -20, and the host's villain aura +20. As expected of a fortune teller, Wang Haoran couldn't help but sigh. He did want to kill Tianji, but if Tianji stayed away from Su Lang, there was no need to do so. "I owe Su Lang a favor. When I lied to your parents, it was all to repay his favor. I thought you two were fated, but I didn't want to hurt you." Tianji looked at Yang Jingwan and said apologetically. The doubts in Yang Jingwan's heart were solved, and her heart was suddenly filled with anger. She grabbed the cabbage, eggs, and other things from the stall next to her and threw them at Tianji, smashing Tianji into a mess. Tianji didn't dodge and let Yang Jingwan throw things at him. When Yang Jingwan was out of strength, Tianji hurriedly packed up. After Yang Jingwan vented her pain, she didn't stop Tianji from leaving. This fortune teller in front of her was indeed hateful, but she hated Su Lang even more. At this moment, she wanted to cut Su Lang into 1,000 pieces. I'm going to confront Su Lang. I'm going to have him arrested and sue him for marriage fraud. Yang Jingwan was furious and wanted to go back to find Su Lang. Sue him for marriage fraud? That's too easy on him. Leave it to me. I'll help you get revenge, but you have to listen to me. Wang Haoran stopped her. I'll listen to you. Yang Jingwan's mood gradually calmed down. She leaned her head in his arms and said meekly, "Knight." Su Lang's first subordinate, Tian Ying, came to report the news. Tianjizi left without saying goodbye. Do you know the reason? Su Lang was a little surprised. I don't know for the time being. Tian Ying shook his head. Don't worry about him for now. Tianjizi's actions have always been unpredictable. Let him be. Su Lang waved his hand and then asked, "Is there any movement from those people?" "They're all dormant. They haven't made any moves for the time being. They're probably waiting for an opportunity. It seems that my wedding will be very lively. But this is also good. I haven't fought for a long time and my hands are itching. If they dare to make a move, I'll definitely make sure they don't return. This subordinate will wait and see. I'll wait for Lord War God to show his invincible skills." Tian Ying's face was full of admiration. Chapter 170. Time passed quietly, and in the blink of an eye, several days had passed. Soon, Su Lang's grand wedding was spread by word of mouth and the media. Everyone in Qingling knew about it. Su Lang saw that the wedding day was getting closer and closer, and he was looking forward to it more and more. Wang Haoran was also looking forward to the wedding. At present, Yang Jingwan's heart was all on Wang Haoran's side. As long as Wang Haoran was willing, he could take her away. But he didn't plan to do so, because Su Lang's current protagonist aura was still around 500 points. Although it was much lower than before, he still had the passive skill, Invincible God of War. Even if Wang Haoran took away Yang Jingwan, Su Lang's protagonist aura still wouldn't drop to the point where he would lose the Invincible God of War. Instead, it would make Su Lang angry and cancel the wedding. In this way, it would be extremely disadvantageous for Wang Haoran, because this shameless God of War skill was too unreasonable. Therefore, Wang Haoran wanted to wait for Su Lang's grand wedding to directly mess with his mentality and make Su Lang's protagonist aura fall to a freezing point. At that time, Su Lang would lose his passive skill, and then he could get rid of him in one fell swoop. Of course, while waiting, Wang Haoran would go to Yang Jingwan once a day to give Su Lang half a hat. The day before the wedding, Wang Haoran roughly calculated the total reward for giving Su Lang half a hat. Among them, he got a total of 2,700 villain points and 90 aura points. This wasn't much, but after all, it was only half a hat. The reward was really limited and couldn't be compared to the harvest. A new day soon arrived. Century Hotel. This was the largest professional wedding hotel in Qingling. Today, the entire Century Hotel was booked. Su Lang's wedding was held here. The vehicles used to receive the guests were Rolls-Royce at the very least, and helicopters that flew in the sky were worth tens of millions of dollars. The floor of the hotel was covered with all kinds of flowers. These flowers were all rare species. The value of a flower ranged from hundreds to tens of thousands. The amount of money spent to decorate the entire wedding venue was more than 100 million yuan. In addition to the fresh flowers on the ground, the other decorations that adorned the wedding atmosphere were also very expensive. For example, the champagne stacked on top of the champagne tower would cost at least 100,000 yuan. Each champagne tower was built with at least 200 bottles of champagne. There were more than a dozen such champagne towers at the wedding venue. One could only imagine how expensive it was. In addition to fresh flowers and champagne towers at the venue, there were also wedding ribbons, fresh flowers, red carpets, road passes, seat cards, flower gates, signage, candlesticks, table flowers, bubble machines, lights, and other necessities needed for a wedding venue. None of them were cheap. In short, this wedding could be considered extremely luxurious. Cheng Rue was well aware of this, because Su Lang originally asked for 2 billion yuan, but in the end he found that it exceeded the budget, so he asked for another 2 billion yuan. This wedding cost about 4 billion yuan. In the entire world, there were probably very few weddings that could compare to this. Outside the hotel, there was a huge screen that was recording the scene of the wedding. That luxurious scene made many people stop and watch. The road outside the hotel was almost impenetrable and difficult to pass through. In this long line of vehicles, there was a Pagani Son of the Wind with a price of about 50 million yuan. In the car, there were two people sitting. In the driver's seat, there was an 8-year-old boy. In the passenger seat, there was an elegant, long-legged beauty in her 20s. Looking at this position, it was obvious that the 8-year-old boy was driving the Pagani. Sister Chio, who was holding a wedding with such a big show, the little boy asked the elegant beauty next to him. I don't know, but to be able to make such a show, it must not be an ordinary person. The elegant beauty said, when I hold a wedding in the future, the show must be 10 times bigger than this. The little boy said in an old-fashioned way, you are only 8 years old, and you are already thinking about the wedding. You are really shameless. The elegant beauty giggled. Tell me, which little girl do you like? Sister Chio, you and the other 6 sisters are all my wives. As for the others, I don't know yet. Anyway, as long as I'm satisfied with them, I can marry them. Haha, you are dreaming. Do you think it is possible for one person to marry so many wives? The elegant beauty laughed. I was able to get into Qinling University when I was 8 years old. I was able to win the championship of the professional race. I can use 1 million yuan to earn 100 million yuan from the stock market in 3 days. What else is impossible? The little boy snorted, his eyes shining with wisdom that did not belong to his age. Hearing this, the elegant beauty's laughter stopped. She was suddenly speechless. In front of her was only an 8-year-old boy, but the things he had done made many geniuses feel ashamed. Sister Chio, if you take the initiative to admit that you are my wife now, I can make you my first wife. What do you think? The little boy smiled slyly. I like music. I hope that my future other half has the same hobby as me. Of course, her achievements should be similar to mine. Otherwise, I will not consider it. So, you little brat, give up. The elegant beauty smiled, which was equivalent to rejecting him in another way. She was a musical genius. She was only 20 years old, but she was already an internationally famous pianist. It would be difficult to find a second person in this world who could reach her level of attainment. Sister Chio, just you wait. In less than 2 months, my piano skills will definitely reach your level, or even surpass yours. The little boy said confidently, you haven't learned the piano before, right? You want to reach my level from a layman in 2 months, or even surpass me. Even you, Beethoven, or Mozart can't do it. The elegant beauty did not believe him at all. Then let's wait and see. Other than the beautiful sister in front of him, the little boy had 6 other sisters. Each of them had the beauty, figure, and temperament of a goddess. Each of them was in a different field, but they had all reached a world-class level in their field. For example, the beauty with the surname Chio in front of him was an internationally famous genius pianist. These 7 goddesses were too outstanding. They were also very persistent in their field, so they looked down on ordinary men. Until now, these 7 sisters had not been in love even once. This was because they had a rigid requirement for their partners. Not only did they have to be young and handsome, but they also had to surpass them in their field. This kind of requirement was really harsh to the extreme. That said, the little boy began to view the 7 goddesses as his future wives. This was because he had a secret. He was an adult who had transmigrated from a blue planet. The only fly in the ointment was that he had transmigrated into the body of an 8-year-old child. However, this was not a big problem. This was because his transmigration came with a system. As long as he was given some time, he would definitely be able to surpass these 7 sisters in their field. He was only 8 years old now, so he had more than enough time. His first goal was this sister with the surname Chio. Chapter 171. At the wedding venue, dressed in a groom's suit, Su Lang looked around. His expression was that of an eagle and a wolf. He no longer looked like a useless son-in-law. Even though his face still looked ordinary, it was filled with a special manly charm. His aura had also become extremely powerful. When the people around saw this, They couldn't help but look at him in awe. "Sir, some fish have slipped in. Should we take action?" At this time, Tian-Ing, who was disguised as a waiter at the wedding banquet, walked up to Su Lang and reported in a low voice. "No need. You just need to protect my wife. Leave the rest to me," Su Lang said indifferently. "Yes, sir. There are already 10 shadow guards guarding outside the madam's room. It will be absolutely safe." Tian-Ing accepted the order and left. Su Lang had 18 shadow guards, and each of them was an expert. Of course, to be precise, there were now 17 shadow guards. Because Ing had become a retard, he had lost his qualification as a shadow guard. Tian-Ing was the leader of the shadow guards. All 17 of them were disguised as hotel waiters and were closely monitoring the movements at the wedding venue. Most of them were secretly protecting Yang Jingwan. The rest of them were monitoring the movements at the wedding venue. At the wedding signing desk, many guests arrived one after another. These guests were all big shots from all walks of life. But today, they all gathered together to congratulate Su Lang. Yang Tai and Li Monli walked around for a while and saw a lot of big shots that they could only see on TV. Under normal circumstances, it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens for them to see these big shots. But today, they actually came to congratulate Su Lang at the wedding. The two of them walked up to Su Lang in a daze. "Trash! Su Lang, did you invite all of these people?" Li Monli asked in disbelief. "That's right," Su Lang nodded. He didn't have a humble attitude of a useless son-in-law. Instead, he became arrogant. "Mom, are you satisfied with the extravagance of the wedding?" "Yes, yes, yes." Li Monli nodded like a chick pecking at rice. Then, she said in a trembling voice, "Good son-in-law, so you're so capable. Why didn't you say so earlier? Mom neglected you in the past. But Mom wants you to be successful. You won't take it to heart, right? Mom, what do you think?" Su Lang sneered and asked back. Hearing this, Li Monli's legs couldn't help but tremble. Her attitude towards Su Lang was very bad before. She often spoke ill of him and even thought of ways to torment him. At this time, seeing Su Lang's cold expression, how could he not be afraid? "Good son-in-law, I won't let you cook and mop the floor in the future. I was wrong. Please forgive me." Li Monli's usual acrimony was completely gone, and she became humble. "That's right, my good son-in-law. We are a family. The most important thing for a family is harmony," Yang Tai said, trembling with fear. Seeing the couple's fearful expression, Su Lang only felt incomparably carefree in his heart, sweeping away the depression from being bullied by the two before. Facing Yang Tai and Li Monli's words, Su Lang didn't respond. He just left an inexplicable smile and walked away. When Yang Tai and Li Monli saw that Su Lang didn't say anything, they directly thought that Su Lang was holding a grudge and wanted to take revenge in the future. The two of them turned pale and worried. Su Lang glanced back and smiled mockingly. Although Yang Tai and Li Monli were despicable, he wouldn't argue with them because of Yang Jingwan's face. The reason why he didn't say anything was because he wanted to scare these two despicable people. "My wife should be done with her makeup by now. I wonder what kind of expression she will have when she comes out and sees this scene." Su Lang secretly looked forward to it. He wanted to complete a magnificent reversal from a useless son-in-law to an invincible god of war at the wedding in order to win Yang Jingwan's heart. For this reason, he had prepared for so many days and spent so much money. Of course, he was looking forward to it. Time quietly passed by. It was getting closer and closer to the start of the wedding. In order to facilitate the wedding process, Yang Jingwan's makeup room was inside the Century Hotel. Su Lang saw that it was about time, so he took the groomsmen and headed towards Yang Jingwan's room. According to the procedure, Su Lang took Yang Jingwan from the room and returned to the wedding venue before the ceremony began. In the corridor outside the room, there were already many dressed bridesmaids standing guard. In the corridor, there was a dense row of stools. On each stool, there was a glass of wine. The meaning was obvious. If they wanted to pass through the corridor, they had to drink the wine. However, the corridor was a little long. It really wasn't a simple thing to shout out a path. "You guys go," Su Lang said to the groomsmen. There were 9 groomsmen, and they were all elites from all walks of life. The 9 groomsmen immediately started drinking. However, after each of them drank 2 or 3 glasses, they suddenly couldn't take it anymore. The groomsmen were completely wiped out. They couldn't even stand properly. So useless, Su Lang couldn't help but complain. This wine is a little strong. I can't stand it. What wine is this? It's stronger than vodka. The groomsmen complained. Seeing this, Su Lang prepared to go alone. His alcohol tolerance was still very good. It could be said that he wouldn't get drunk after 1,000 glasses. It wasn't difficult for him to drink a way out. However, after he drank 10 glasses, his feet suddenly swayed a little. This wine was indeed a little strong. Su Lang directly gave up on drinking. He still had to deal with the fish that snuck into the wedding, so he wanted to be absolutely sober. Thinking of this, Su Lang directly called over the 10 shadow guards who were disguised as waiters to protect Yang Jingwan. With the efforts of the 10 people, the wine in the corridor decreased by a lot. However, they still had a mission and couldn't get drunk, so they could only give up. However, looking around, there was still half the way to Yang Jingwan's room. It was almost impossible for him to drink it. We can't take it anymore. You just have to show some appreciation. Hurry up and take the rest away, Su Lang said to the bridesmaids. You can't take the bride away before the wine is finished. That's right. Men can't say no. Keep drinking. The bridesmaids started cheering. Seeing this, Su Lang was a little unhappy. He secretly blamed Cheng Rue for not doing a good job. These bridesmaids were all found by Cheng Rue. Now, they were obviously deliberately making things difficult. What was the meaning of this? Su Lang wanted to kick the wine in the corridor away, kick open the door, and carry Yang Jingwan out. However, he only thought about it. After all, today was a big day. He didn't want to break the rules. After thinking about it, Su Lang prepared to call Yang Jingwan. He couldn't walk over, but Yang Jingwan could come out by herself. Soon, the call went through. Honey, these bridesmaids are too evil. We can't go in. Hurry up and come out. The wedding is about to start. If you don't finish the wine, then don't think about coming in. I won't go out. Yang Jingwan's voice was muffled and she was out of breath. Chapter 172. Listening to the strange voice on the phone, Su Lang couldn't help but frown. Honey, why are you panting? What are you doing? I'm practicing yoga. Hearing Yang Jingwan's answer, Su Lang felt even more strange. He knew that Yang Jingwan did have a habit of practicing yoga, but they were about to go out for the wedding, yet she was practicing yoga? Su Lang wasn't an idiot. Of course, he wouldn't believe Yang Jingwan's words so easily. Come here. He waved to one of his men who was dressed as a waiter. Sir, what's the matter? You guys have been standing guard outside. Did you notice anyone suspicious coming over? We've been guarding here and haven't left. We didn't find anyone suspicious. Then who else is in the room right now besides my wife? Miss Cheng Rue is also inside. Su Lang was relieved when he heard this. When he heard Yang Jingwan's voice, he thought she was, but after asking his men, his suspicions were immediately dispelled. It seemed that his wife was really practicing yoga. She was quite interested. But no matter how interested she was, the wedding ceremony still had to start on time. Su Lang immediately called Cheng Rue again. The phone was connected. Yang Jingwan's panting voice could be heard from Cheng Rue's end. Su Lang ignored it and said to Cheng Rue, the bridesmaids you found are too troublesome. We can't come in. Tell them to stop. The ceremony is about to start. There are so many of you, and you didn't even finish a little bit of wine? Cheng Rue asked in surprise. Half the hallway is filled with wine. Is that a little bit of wine? And the wine is very strong. You can't drink too much. How are you doing your job? Su Lang said in a superior tone. I didn't prepare it. The hotel arranged it. No matter what, this is your negligence. I don't want to hear your explanation, Su Lang snorted. Hurry and bring Jingwan out. Before Cheng Rue could respond, Yang Jingwan's scream came from the other end of the phone. What happened? Su Lang asked in surprise. He wanted to rush into the room to take a look. It's nothing. Jingwan, she sprained her back while doing yoga. What are you doing? The wedding is about to start. Are you in the way? Lang Su hurriedly asked. It's not a big problem, but she won't be able to walk for a while. I'll give her a massage. You go and calm the guests down. When Jingwan is fine, I'll bring her over immediately. According to the procedure, shouldn't I be picking her up? Don't worry about the process. She can't walk now. She can't go. Then keep an eye on her. If she's fine, bring her here immediately. Su Lang could only agree. On the other side, after ending the call, Chung Rue couldn't help but snort coldly. This Su Lang really thought of himself as someone important. What kind of joke was he, ordering him around? After secretly despising her, Chung Rue walked out of the bathroom in the room. She turned her head awkwardly and glanced at Yang Jingwan, who was lying motionless with messy hair because of exhaustion. Bride, you're done with yoga. Hurry up and tidy up. They're rushing you. Chung Rue reminded her. At the wedding venue, Su Lang absent-mindedly greeted the guests for a while, looking forward to Yang Jingwan's appearance. After about 10 minutes, Chung Rue finally appeared with the bride in a wedding dress. The bride is so beautiful. Yeah, she's so beautiful. The guests who came to congratulate Su Lang simply glanced at the silhouette in the wedding dress and were stunned. They all exclaimed. Su Lang heard the voices around him and couldn't help but smile. From today onwards, Yang Jingwan was his wife in the truest sense of the word. After working hard for a year as a useless son-in-law, from today onwards, he was going to completely turn things around. From today onwards, he would no longer have to live in separate bedrooms with Yang Jingwan. Su Lang was full of anticipation. With Chung Rue's help, Yang Jingwan walked closer and closer to Su Lang. Su Lang had a smile on his face as he stared at Yang Jingwan's silhouette. But soon, the smile on Su Lang's face disappeared. It was replaced by an expression of being struck by lightning, because he realized that Yang Jingwan's walking posture was different. She was no longer. Su Lang was in disbelief. We saw Yang Jingwan yesterday. She was clearly fine. When did this happen? That's right, just now when he was on the phone. She was no longer perfect. She was no longer perfect. Su Lang's dream was shattered. In an instant, Su Lang's eyes turned blood red and he screamed. Ah! Ding! The host manipulated behind the scenes, causing the protagonist Su Lang to lose his mental balance. Received 600 villain points. Su Lang's protagonist aura -30, host villain aura +30. Ding! The host manipulated behind the scenes, causing the protagonist Su Lang to lose his mental balance. Received 700 villain points. Su Lang's protagonist aura -35, host villain aura +35. Ding! The host manipulated behind the scenes, causing the protagonist Su Lang to lose his mental balance. Received 800 villain points. Su Lang's protagonist aura -40, host villain aura +40. Ding! The host manipulated behind the scenes, causing the protagonist Su Lang to lose his mental balance. Received 900 villain points. Su Lang's protagonist aura -45, host villain aura +45. Ding! The host manipulated behind the scenes, causing the protagonist Su Lang to lose his mental balance. Received 1,000 villain points. Su Lang's protagonist aura -50, host villain aura +50. Ding! Su Lang's protagonist aura points are lower than 300. He has lost the passive skill, Invincible War God. Wang Haoran, who followed Yang Jingwan out and returned to the crowd of guests, suddenly received a series of system prompts. Without the shameless, Invincible War God skill, Su Lang was like a tiger without teeth. At this point, Wang Haoran no longer had to be afraid of Su Lang. Of course, this good show wasn't over yet. He still had to continue watching. On the other side, Su Lang took a step forward. Like a ghost, he arrived in front of Yang Jingwan. He pulled off the veil on Yang Jingwan's head. Who? Who is it? Su Lang's face was so gloomy that it was a bit frightening. This sudden turn of events baffled almost everyone present. Was the groom possessed? What was he doing? Su Lang's abnormality was probably known by Wang Haoran, Yang Jingwan, and Chung Rue. After the veil was taken off, Yang Jingwan's almost perfect face with makeup appeared in front of everyone present. At this moment, her face was filled with anger and resentment. Chapter 173. Before you ask me a question, I have a question to ask you first. Facing the ferocious Su Lang, Yang Jingwan wasn't afraid at all. Was our marriage a year ago a coincidence? Or did you create it behind the scenes? You know everything? It seems that Tian Jizi told you. No wonder he left without saying goodbye. So that's the reason. Seeing this, Su Lang didn't hide anything and directly told her everything. Yes, I was the one who created your family's bad luck behind the scenes. Even Tian Jizi telling your family's fortune was also secretly instructed by me. The purpose was to make you marry me. If I didn't find out, wouldn't my life have been ruined by you? Why did you do this? Yang Jingwan was sad and resentful. Many years ago, you gave a little beggar a bowl of rice. Do you still remember? I was that little beggar back then. I still remember the kindness of eating a meal back then. After I became successful and famous, I came back to find you. I want to give you a lifetime of happiness. I want to repay you with my entire life. Some old memories flashed in Su Lang's eyes, and there was more affection in his eyes. When the surrounding guests heard this, they suddenly felt that this was a beautiful love story. But soon the style of the scene changed. Are you King crazy? I did you a favor, and you're harming me in turn? Yang Jingwan was a little dizzy from anger and couldn't help but swear. Why would I harm you? I married you because I want to protect you for the rest of your life. Please, I don't even like you. Who wants to marry you? What's the difference between your actions and a robber's? Woman, do you know who I am? You marrying me is the blessing of 8 lifetimes. This is your greatest honor. Su Lang thought of himself as superior and didn't think there was anything wrong with his practice of cheating her. In his opinion, Yang Jingwan should be thanking him 1,000 times. After all Yang Jingwan had done was eat a meal, and the surrounding guests, after watching such a big show, their worldview was about to crack. They originally thought that this was a romantic love story, but it turned out to be a tragedy of wishful thinking. Some of these guests knew Su Lang's identity as the war god. But even if you're a war god, to do such a thing when the girl is unwilling, isn't that the same as kidnapping a civilian girl? Of course, Su Lang was bewitched at this moment. He didn't think there was anything wrong with him. At this moment, the broadcast of the wedding venue suddenly played a recorded conversation. I want 2 billion in cash. Is this a protection fee? You can understand it that way. It will take time to get 2 billion in cash flow at once. I'll give you 5 days. Also, I need some money urgently. I need it immediately. This is my supplementary card. The limit is 200 million. The password is 6666. Woman, you are very obedient. I am very satisfied with you. There was a man's voice and a woman's voice in this conversation. From the tone of the male voice, it was clearly Su Lang. Everyone present was astonished. If this recording is true, then isn't this Su Lang a blackmailer? He was asking for 2 billion. His appetite was too big. With that thought in mind, everyone continued to listen. After listening to one part of the recording, it was time for another part of the recording. The wedding exceeded the budget. 2 billion is not enough. I want another 2 billion. Everyone was stunned. It turned out that this wasn't just extortion of 2 billion, it was extortion of 4 billion. Thinking of this, everyone looked at Su Lang with strange eyes. Su Lang's face was livid. The words in the recording were indeed spoken by him. However, it was reasonable to say that these words couldn't be recorded by outsiders. He turned his gaze and suddenly looked at Chang Rue. I think everyone knows who the man in the recording is. As for the woman being extorted, everyone must want to know who she is, right? Chang Rue answered herself. That's right, it's me. The audience was in an uproar. This trash Su Lang, so he got his money through extortion. I thought he was some big shot. Bah! Li Monli spat in disdain. In the field, everyone was discussing animatedly and pointing at Su Lang. Ding! The host manipulated behind the scenes, causing the image of the protagonist Su Lang to be greatly damaged. Received 800 villain points. Su Lang's protagonist aura -40. Host villain aura +40. Hearing these discussions, Su Lang looked at Chang Rue angrily. Sinister woman, you actually betrayed me. I just felt that my life was threatened, so I had no choice but to listen to your arrangements. As for betrayal, That's even more ridiculous. You're an extortionist, and I'm a victim. You said that I betrayed you. Don't you feel ashamed? Chung Rue was sharp-tongued and immediately retorted. You. Su Lang couldn't win with words, so he didn't argue with Chung Rue. However, he had blacklisted Chung Rue. Of course, he didn't have time to deal with Chung Rue right now. He could only deal with her later. Madman, you're a madman. You're unreasonable. Yang Jingwan looked at Su Lang and gritted her teeth. Because of this, you betrayed me. But you casually found a wild man, and that's it. Aren't you too cheap? Su Lang's face was full of anger. You're wrong. I didn't casually find him. I truly love him. Yang Jingwan retorted. Truly love him. Su Lang staggered. Ding! The host manipulated behind the scenes, causing the protagonist Su Lang to lose his mind. Received 500 villain points. Su Lang's protagonist aura minus 25. Host protagonist aura plus 25. Who is he? Who is he? I'm going to kill him. I'm going to cut him into 1,000 pieces. I'm going to kill every single one of his family. Su Lang's body suddenly exploded with a monstrous aura. The surrounding people clearly felt a strong sense of oppression. Yang Jingwan's eyes were filled with shock and fear. However, she still wanted to protect the person she loved from harm. I won't tell you who he is even if I die. A pair of adulterers. Fine, if that's the case, then. I'll kill you first, and then find that person. Su Lang's eyes were filled with killing intent. Ding! The protagonist Su Lang has been corrupted. The protagonist aura has been shattered. He has lost the protagonist identity. After receiving the system notification, Wang Haoren was slightly stunned. He had hammered a few protagonists before. This was the first time he encountered someone who lost the protagonist identity due to corruption. However, if he thought about it, this was normal. Su Lang, as the protagonist, had the intention to kill the female protagonist. Wasn't this corruption? Since he was corrupted, he naturally lost the protagonist identity. As these thoughts flashed through his mind, Su Lang on the other side was about to reach out and strangle Yang Jingwan. Wang Haoren stood in place without moving. He had no intention of making a move. As a villain, he couldn't casually reveal his strength in front of so many people. Moreover, Su Lang didn't have the ability to strangle Yang Jingwan. Wang Haoren had already harvested Yang Jingwan. Naturally, he treated her as his woman. Since he dared to let Yang Jingwan provoke Su Lang, he naturally had something to rely on. Just as Su Lang was about to make a move, he suddenly felt like he was struck by lightning. In an instant, cold sweat dripped down his forehead and he knelt on the ground. What's going on? Why can't I use any strength? Su Lang's heart shook. He felt a chill from the top of his head to the soles of his feet. He quickly thought back and quickly realized that something was wrong. The wine, there's something wrong with the wine. Su Lang suddenly realized. However, it was too late. The enemies that snuck into the wedding to harm Su Lang were originally afraid of the power of the war god and didn't dare to act rashly. However, when they saw Su Lang's abnormality, they immediately charged at Su Lang. The guests screamed in panic. The wedding venue was suddenly in chaos. Chapter 174. Su Lang's 17 shadow guards immediately rushed over to protect him. However, most of these shadow guards had taken the wine for Su Lang and were poisoned like Su Lang. There were only 7 shadow guards who could unleash their true power, and there were more than 20 enemies who rushed over. These 20 people were not as strong as any of the shadow guards, but they had the advantage in numbers. The two sides fought fiercely, and the shadow guards suffered heavy casualties. The guests fled to avoid being involved in the chaos. Yang Jingwan couldn't move and couldn't help but panic. But soon she felt that her waist was held by a strong arm. Yang Jingwan escaped from the chaotic battle and went to a safe place. How was my performance? Do you mean in the room or at the wedding? Of course at the wedding, Yang Jingwan said. If you mean at the wedding, then it was not bad. You met my requirements. Hearing this, Yang Jingwan suddenly felt strange. Did he mean that other than her performance at the wedding, he didn't treat her well in any other aspects? I don't have much experience. After I accumulate more experience, my performance will definitely satisfy you. Yang Jingwan muttered. Her voice was as soft as a mosquito. However, Wang Haoran's hearing was very good, and he heard it clearly. Then I'll look forward to your performance, Wang Haoran said with a smile. Yang Jingwan lowered her head. Her face was so red that she couldn't speak. A few days later, the dust of the wedding had settled. Su Lang unfortunately died in the conflict with his enemies. His subordinates also died in this accident. At this point, the shameless war god had completely become history. Wang Haoran returned to school and immersed himself in his studies. On the blackboard, the big words written in red chalk clearly said, 12 days until the college entrance exam. During this period of time, Wang Haoran spent a lot of energy and took a lot of leave because of the shameless war god. Now that the college entrance exam was around the corner, he naturally had to work hard. Even if he didn't get in, Wang Xiang and Zhun Li had a way to send him to Qingling University. But that was still going through the back door. It was too embarrassing. As a villain who strived for perfection, if he could directly enter the school, of course he would choose to do so. In the following days, Wang Haoran devoted himself to studying and revising his lessons. The college entrance examination arrived as scheduled. 2 days of examination time passed very quickly. After the English test on the afternoon of the 8th, Wang Haoran walked out of the examination hall confidently. He was finally completely liberated. The next step was to rest and wait for the results to come out. Fang Heng was just like a money tree. He was no threat to him at all. In this kind of situation where there was no pressure, Wang Haoran's life was very decadent. Every night, there would be music. Wang Haoran gradually lost his fighting spirit as the main character. He wanted to live a peaceful life with the few female leads who were close to him. However, he soon realized that this idea was very dangerous. He was the villain, not the main character. How could it be a happy and perfect ending? Unknowingly, half a month had passed, and the results were out. Wang Haoran scored 691 points. With this result, he could easily enroll in any high school in the Fire Country. When Wang Xiang and Zhun Li found out about their son's results, they specially ordered a Bugatti Veyron as a reward. But it would take some time for the manufacturer to deliver the goods, and the Bugatti would not be in Wang Haoran's hands for the time being. Besides the sports car, Wang Haoran also received another reward, a villa worth 50 million near Qingling University. However, this villa was not given by Wang Xiang and Zhun Li, but by Tang Bingyan. This rich woman was also someone who did not lack money. When she saw Wang Haoran doing so well in the exams, she of course expressed her gratitude. A few days after the results came out, it was time to fill in the application form. In Wang Haoran's class, some of the students had already decided which school to apply to, but some of them were still conflicted. Among them was Su Muyan. Wen Jing, who was at the same table, had already filled in the application form. Su Muyan tilts her head to take a glance and is immediately surprised. Jing, your score just crossed the admission line for Qingling University. Aren't you afraid that you won't be able to get into Qingling University? If you don't get into Qingling University, you might have to go to Qingling University. What's there to be afraid of? Just give it a try. Who knows? Maybe you'll be able to get in. Wen Jing said casually. You have such a big heart. Ha. Wen Jing laughed, but did not say the reason. She couldn't possibly say that someone had promised her that even if she crossed the line, she would still be able to get into Qingling University. Yin, you still haven't decided where to apply? Wen Jing saw that Su Muyan was still conflicted and asked. That's right. Su Muyan's face is full of worry. Didn't you get 689 points? Just apply to the best school in the capital. What's there to be conflicted about? Wen Jing was puzzled. That's too far, Su Muyan mumbled. Then, she sneakily looked around and suddenly whispered to Wen Jing. Jing, why don't you help me see what school Wang Haoran applied for? I'll take a look. Oh. Wen Jing suddenly understood why Su Muyan was conflicted. What do you owe for? Hurry up and take a look for me. Su Muyan urged her and reminded her. But remember, don't tell anyone that I asked you to. Okay, I'll go. Wen Jing got up and went to Wang Haoran's desk. You want me to come over and see what school you filled in? What should I say? Wen Jing completely ignores Su Muyan's instructions and directly blurts it out. Just tell her the truth. As for where she wants to go, it's up to her, Wang Howard said. The few female leads he had close relationships with were enough for him to deal with. There was no substantial progress in his relationship with Su Muyan. Su Muyan was still free, and Wang Howard was not going to interfere with her thoughts. Wen Jing nodded and immediately went to reply. His grades are so good, how is he going to apply to Qingling University? Su Muyan was stunned. Maybe he thinks that the capital is too far away, Wen Jing casually explained. Then she asked, what about you? Where are you going to apply? Su Muyan was still conflicted. If Wang Howard had applied for the best school in the capital, she would have followed Wang Howard without hesitation. That was the school she had been looking forward to for a long time. However, Wang Howard had chosen Qingling University. To be honest, Su Muyan did not want to go to Qingling University. Going to Tian Qingling University with her grades was a waste of points. She had studied hard for so many years just to go to the best school in the capital. Now, the opportunity was right in front of her. With her grades, she would definitely be accepted into the school in the capital. However, if she went to the capital, then with him. Chapter 175. Hey, Wang Howard, have you filled in your application form? If you haven't, hurry up and come out. Sister Yunhan is asking us to go look at the school together. Just as Su Muyan was in a dilemma, a voice came from the door of the classroom. She looked up and saw Mu Zhao Zhao, who had an outrageous figure. Then, she analyzed the information that Mu Zhao Zhao's words carried. This Mu Zhao Zhao seemed to have been called over by Qin Yunhan to urge Wang Howard to go look at the school. Moreover, from what she said, it seemed like Qin Yunhan and Wang Howard had both filled in Qingling University. Moreover, they were preparing to go look at the school together. Just as Su Muyan was thinking about this, Wen Jing quickly filled in her application form and handed it in. Then, she ran over to Wang Howard. Can I come along? Wen Jing asked expectantly. You're included. Okay. Wen Jing smiled happily. Soon, Su Muyan saw Wang Howard, Wen Jing, and Mu Zhao Zhao leave her sight. She paused for a few seconds and immediately made a big decision. She filled in her application form and handed it in quickly. Outside the school gate, Qin Yunhan sat in a Maserati and waited. Not long after, Mu Zhao Zhao brought Wang Howard and Wen Jing over. When Mu Zhao Zhao saw that Qin Yunhan had occupied the driver's seat, she could not help but persuade her, Sister Yunhan, are you sure you want to drive yourself? Why don't you get someone else? When she came to the school, she had taken Qin Yunhan's car. She had been scared witless the whole way. I also have a driver's license. Don't talk nonsense. Get in. Qin Yunhan said confidently. Sister Yunhan, I'm scared. Mu Zhao Zhao said with a long face. You dare to look down on me? I must prove myself today. Qin Yunhan was unwilling to give up. Let me do it. I've been to Qingling University before, so I'm more familiar with the place. Wang Howard felt that Qin Yunhan was a little unreliable, so he could not help but persuade her. Okay. Although Qin Yunhan was willful, she was still very obedient in front of Wang Howard. For example, when Wang Howard told her not to disclose their relationship for the time being, Qin Yunhan agreed obediently without even asking for the reason. Are you planning to visit Qingling University? Bring me along. Su Muyan jogged over. Yin Yin, why did you also apply for Qingling University? Wen Jing asked in surprise. Yes. Su Muyan nodded. Your results are in the top 10 of the school, right? Your score is close to 700. Why did you apply for Qingling University? Qin Yunhan looked at Su Muyan suspiciously. I don't want to be too far away from home, so I chose the nearest good school, Su Muyan explained and glanced at Wang Howard inadvertently. Qin Yunhan was more sensitive, so she noticed Su Muyan's slight movement. Is that really it? What a coincidence. We can all study at the same school in the future. It's fate. Wang Howard saw that the atmosphere was a little off, so he quickly came out to smooth things over. Get in the car and get ready to go. To be honest, he was quite happy with Su Muyan's decision. Since Wang Howard said that, Qin Yunhan didn't say anything more about Su Muyan's choice of school. She opened the door of the front passenger seat and got ready to get in. However, Su Muyan came over. I'm a little car sick. Can I sit in the front? Su Muyin wanted to be closer to Wang Haoren. What a coincidence. I'm carsick too. I want to sit in the front too. Qin Yunhan didn't agree. Isn't it the same no matter who sits in the front? Wang Haoren interrupted. It's not the same. Qin Yunhan and Su Muyin said in unison and looked at each other. Both of their eyes were big and blinking. They just stared at each other, and no one was afraid of the other. Seeing the reaction of the two, Wang Haoren couldn't help but be surprised. When Jing smiled secretly, she suddenly felt that it was better to be an underground girlfriend. At least she didn't have to be jealous of others. How long are you going to stare? Mu Zhaozhao looked at the scene in front of her, so she muttered. Why don't you guys play rock, paper, scissors? Whoever wins will sit. Wang Haoren saw that neither of them gave in, so he suggested. Okay. Su Muyin nodded. No. Qin Yunhan objected and looked directly at Wang Haoren. You're the one driving. You say, who should sit in the front? This. Wang Haoren suddenly hesitated. In this situation, helping one of them would offend the other. Wang Haoren, we've been classmates for so many years. Can you bear to see me get carsick? Su Muyin blinked her big eyes at Wang Haoren. Qin Yunhan was annoyed. Playing the emotional card? She directly used her trump card and whispered something in Wang Haoren's ear. After Wang Haoren heard it, he looked at her strangely and paused for a few seconds. Cough. Su Muyin, I'll drive slowly. I won't get carsick so easily. You can sit in the back. Ding. The host made the female lead Su Muyin jealous. Gained 300 villain points. Okay. Su Muyin pouted. She was a little disappointed and a little curious. What did Qin Yunhan secretly say? Seeing this, Qin Yunhan raised her chin slightly and was a little proud. The car steadily set off in the direction of Qingling University. Qin Yunhan couldn't sit still and kept chatting with Wang Haoren. As they were talking, a supercar whizzed past Martha. In just a few blinks of an eye, the supercar's silhouette blurred. Oh my God, what's that supercar? It looks pretty cool. Mu Zhaozhao exclaimed. Pagani, son of the wind. Wang Haoren replied. When Wang Xiang and Zhun Li were preparing to send the 10,000 level supercar, Wang Haoren specially went to buy some top-level supercars. Therefore, he had some knowledge in this area. Although it was only a glimpse, Wang Haoren already recognized what car it was. Pagani, son of the wind. The name sounds like it's fast. Mu Zhaozhao said. You're blind. That car just now was more than 200 kilometers per hour. A normal supercar can do that. The key is not the car, but the skill. Qin Yunhan complained to her best friend. You're right. That Pagani continuously changed lanes to overtake at such a high speed. It's stable and fast. It's not simple. Hearing this, Wang Haoren nodded in agreement. In his system store, there was actually a master-level driving skill, but it cost a few thousand points. Wang Haoren didn't need it, so he didn't exchange for the skill. Is that Pagani a professional driver? Mu Zhaozhao asked. I don't know if he's a professional driver, but he's definitely an experienced driver. Wang Haoren said with certainty. I just saw that the driver was a child. When Jing interrupted weakly. Chapter 176. The person driving the Pagani is a child? How is that possible? You must be mistaken. Qin Yunhan refuted. Jingjing has good eyesight. Since she said so, it can't be wrong. Su Muyin believed in her. A child is so short. Can he reach the accelerator and the brakes? Qin Yunhan pouted. He can stand up and drive, Su Muyin said. That's ridiculous. Qin Yunhan shook her head. The world is big. There are all kinds of strange things. That's true. For example, someone who scored almost 700 points and applied for Qingling University. Strange things like that happen. What else is impossible? I already said that I wanted to be closer to home. That's why I applied for Qingling University. Someone knows very well why. To put it bluntly, he's shameless. I applied for Qingling University. How is that shameless? I didn't mention a name. I'm just talking about someone. Why did you use a code name? The two of them were discussing whether the person driving the car was a child. However, as they talked, they started arguing again. Wang Haoren felt his head buzzing as he listened to the voice beside his ear. Fortunately, the road to Qingling University was not long. Not long after, the five of them arrived at their destination. Wang Haoren parked the car and got out. Hey, it's the son of the wind. Qin Yunhan exclaimed when she saw the car not far from Marcia. Wang Haoran looked over as well. However, the son of the wind was just parked there. There was no one in the car. However, this was Qingling University's parking lot. The person driving the Pagani was most likely here for something. The five of them left the parking lot and started touring the campus of Qingling University. Every time they saw a scenic spot, the girls would stop for a while to take some photos. Therefore, the speed of their tour was not fast. Qingling University's campus was huge. At this rate, it would take them until the afternoon. However, the girls were very enthusiastic. But Wang Haoran felt quite bored. This kind of boredom was like accompanying a girl to go shopping. It was mentally tiring. After visiting for about an hour, Wang Haoran was unwilling to leave. He left the group and waited at the same spot. A few minutes later, Qin Yunhan, who had accompanied everyone on the tour, suddenly returned. Why did you come back alone? Where are the others? Wang Haoran asked. I want to walk around alone with you. Still shopping? Wang Haoran asked lazily. I won't go far. Let's go to the top of this building and take a look. Qin Yunhan pointed at the building of the Conservatory of Music. It was a holiday, so the building was empty. There was no one around. Many classrooms were closed as well. However, the door of the building was not closed, so they could enter. Although they could enter the building, the only places they could move around were the stairs and corridors. Next was the rooftop. Of course, there was nothing to see on the stairs and corridors. Hence, the two of them went directly to the rooftop. The Conservatory of Music building was very tall. From the rooftop, they could see almost the entire campus area. Qin Yunhan took out her phone and took some photos of herself and Wang Haoran. The background was the scenery and buildings outside the rooftop. The two of them were extremely good-looking. The photos were very good, looking even without the use of filters. Okay, we're done. Let's go back, Wang Haoran said. Don't you think it's quite romantic here? Stay a little longer, Qin Yunhan said coquettishly. The two of them sat on the rooftop for a while, looking at the scenery around them. But gradually, Qin Yunhan's head tilted to Wang Haoran's shoulder. Wang Haoran tilted his head and looked at her. Qin Yunhan's face was slightly raised. Suddenly, she closed her eyes shyly. However, Qin Yunhan did not receive any response from Wang Haoran for a long time. Is the scenery more beautiful than me? Qin Yunhan raised her delicate face, which was so beautiful that it was difficult to find any flaws, and pouted coquettishly. Someone's coming, Wang Haoran reminded her. Ah, Qin Yunhan was stunned. She was too focused just now and did not pay attention. She just listened carefully. Tap, tap. It was the sound of footsteps. They were getting closer and closer. An elegant, long-legged beauty came to the rooftop. When she saw Wang Haoran and Qin Yunhan on the rooftop, she thought that she had disturbed the two lovers who were looking at the scenery. She suddenly felt awkward. Wang Haoran and Qin Yunhan could not help but look at the elegant, long-legged beauty. The latter was suddenly surprised. Are you Qiu Qianwei? You know me? The elegant beauty stopped and asked in surprise. My dad and I want to watch your solo piano recital. I'm a fan of yours, Qin Yunhan said with a look of joy. Seeing Qin Yunhan's reaction, Qiu Qianwei had a good impression of her. She smiled and said, I didn't expect to meet such a beautiful fan here. While speaking, Qiu Qianwei's gaze shifted slightly. She looked at Wang Haoran, who was next to Qin Yunhan. I wanted to go to the rooftop to look at the scenery on a whim. It seems that I've disturbed you too. No, we're just classmates. We came up to look at the scenery together. Qin Yunhan almost lost face just now, so she felt guilty. She quickly explained and distanced herself from Wang Haoran. I see. Qiu Qianwei did not suspect anything. She did not feel awkward. Can I take a picture with you? Qin Yunhan asked. Of course. Qiu Qianwei nodded with a smile. Here. Take a better picture. Qin Yunhan handed the phone to Wang Haoran. Then, she found a suitable background and stood with Qiu Qianwei. Wang Haoran stepped back and found an angle to take a picture of the two. However, while taking the picture, he looked at Qiu Qianwei. Qiu Qianwei's appearance, figure, and temperament were 96, 96, and 99 respectively. She was definitely a female lead. With that thought in mind, Wang Haoren also communicated with the system to check. Soon, Qiu Qianwei's information came out. Female lead, Qiu Qianwei, combat strength, 20, charm, 288. Female lead halo, 988. Skills, Grandmaster level piano performance, Grandmaster level music appreciation, Grandmaster level music composition, Master level proficiency in all musical instruments. Favorability of the host, 20, very friendly. After glancing at Qiu Qianwei's attributes, Wang Haoren was shocked. Her charm value of 288 was higher than all the female leads he had met before. 988 female lead halo can also be said to be the highest among the female leads he has seen so far. The most important thing is those skills. This Qiu Qianwei is a world-class genius musician. As for the favorability, it is a bit interesting. This Qiu Qianwei is the female lead, and Wang Haoren is the antagonist. Logically speaking, female leads are born to hate antagonists. Normally, their initial favorability is usually 0 or even negative. However, Qiu Qianwei only met Wang Haoren once, and her favorability is already 20. The reason is, of course, because of Wang Haoren's super high charm of 568. Chapter 177. After confirming Qiu Qianwei's identity as the female lead, Wang Haoren began to ponder. Of all the protagonists he had met, other than the money tree Feng Heng, the others were all dead. Qiu Qianwei's stats were so high, and her aura far surpassed Feng Heng's. It was impossible for her to be the female lead in the storyline with Feng Heng. In other words, a new protagonist had appeared. Judging from Qiu Qianwei's super high makeup, this new protagonist should not be a simple character. Miss Qiu, you're a musician, so you must be very busy. Why did you come to Qingling University alone? Wang Haoren asked as he took photos. I came to visit the school with my brother, but he had something to do, so I walked around alone. Qiu Qianwei felt that Wang Haoren was just making small talk, so she answered without hiding anything. Miss Qiu, you're so outstanding. So your brother must be outstanding as well, right? Wang Haoren asked. How should I put it? He can't be considered outstanding. Qiu Qianwei's expression was a little strange. He's a monster. What do you mean? Wang Haoren's heart skipped a beat, and he continued to ask. He was recommended to Qingling University. Recommended directly? That's amazing, but he can't be considered a monster, right? Wang Haoren was puzzled. If I told you that he's only 8 years old, would you still think so? Qiu Qianwei asked. 8 years old, Wang Haoren exclaimed. Qin Yunhan couldn't help but widen her eyes. Actually, recommended to Qingling University is just a small honor for him. Seeing how surprised the two were, Qiu Qianwei, as the elder sister, could not help but show off. Other than recommended to Qingling University, he also won a professional racing competition. With a capital of 1 million, he earned 100 million from the stock market in 3 days. Wow, a prodigy! Qin Yunhan was stunned. Wang Haoren was also shocked. However, more than anything, he wanted to scold someone. What the F***CK? To be so powerful at 8 years old, he was definitely going to be a main character. In urban novels, there were some young protagonists. However, even though they were young, they were definitely more awesome than other regular protagonists. Your 8-year-old brother is called Qiu something? Wang Haoren asked. His surname is not Qiu. His surname is Lin. His name is Lin Chun, Qiu Qianwei replied. You're not related by blood? No, I'm an adopted daughter. Oh, your parents are really amazing. They raise you and your sister to be so outstanding, Wang Haoren praised, thinking that it was Feng Heng and Feng Xian's trick. However, he quickly realized that things were not that simple, because Qiu Qianwei hadn't finished speaking yet. It's not just the siblings. I have 6 older sisters. They're all adopted daughters, but they're all very outstanding. I'm the worst. Wang Haoren was dumbfounded. 6 sisters, plus Qiu Qianwei, that would be 7. F***CK, 7 female protagonists. This wasn't just a simple prodigy genre, but a combination of prodigy and 7 goddesses. What an intricate scheme. A main character with 7 goddesses would definitely be very awesome and would have a lot of aura points. To deal with this type of main character, one would probably have to conquer all 7 goddesses of the main character. However, the self-proclaimed worst genius musician, Xiao Qianwei, would not be so easy to deal with. Not to mention the other 6 goddesses who were even more outstanding. Wang Haoran felt a headache coming on. After calming himself down, he regained his ability to think and quickly took out his phone to make a call. Xiao Qianwei made it very clear that she was here with her brother to check out the school. Therefore, her brother must be in the school right now. Su Muyin and Mu Zhaozhao, the 2 female protagonists, were wandering around the school. According to the law of meat, buns, and dogs, the 8-year-old main character, Lin Shun, would most likely encounter the 2 female protagonists after smelling the scent, thus creating a plot interaction. On a small tree-lined path in the school, Lin Shun picked up a few leaves from the ground and smiled at Su Muyin, Mu Zhaozhao, and Wen Jing in front of him. How are the 3 beautiful sisters? Open your eyes and watch carefully. I'm watching. I don't believe that a little kid like you can do magic. Su Muyin's face was full of disbelief. That's right. I also don't believe that you can turn leaves into flowers. Mu Zhaozhao agreed. Wen Jing was quieter. She didn't say anything, but her face was full of suspicion. Lin Shun saw the expressions of the 3 and felt a burst of joy in his heart. The more these 3 beauties didn't believe him, the better the effect would be after he completed the magic. Watch carefully. I'm about to perform. Lin Shun clasped the leaves with his palms and started to rub them together. After a few seconds, he felt that it was about time. However, before he could complete the magic, one of the beautiful sisters' phone rang. She suddenly went to answer the call. Lin Shun saw that the beautiful sister's attention wasn't on him, so he stopped the magic for a moment and waited for the beautiful sister to finish the call. After Su Muyin hung up the phone, she didn't look at Lin Shun. Instead, she said to Mu Zhaozhao and Wen Jing, Wang Haoran called us. Let's go over quickly. Then let's go. When Wen Jing heard that it was Wang Haoran who called them, her heart instantly flew away. She didn't have the mood to watch Lin Shun perform the magic. Mu Zhaozhao wanted to watch the magic, but her 2 friends had already left. She wasn't interested in staying. Little kid, we have something to do. Let's go. Bye. Su Muyin waved at Lin Shun and left with Mu Zhaozhao and Wen Jing. Hey, 3 beautiful sisters, don't go. I haven't finished my magic. Lin Shun wanted to call out to them, but they completely ignored him. Lin Shun didn't want to give up. He ran after them with his short legs. Ding! Host stopped the main character Lin Shun from tricking the female, lead Su Muyin and Mu Zhaozhao. Received 600 villain points. On the other side, after Wang Haoran ended the call with Su Muyin, he immediately received a notification from the system. As expected, meat buns really attract dogs. Su Muyin and Mu Zhaozhao really did meet Lin Shun. Luckily, they stopped him in time. After a while, Su Muyin, Mu Zhaozhao, and Wen Jing arrived at the rooftop of the music building. However, behind the 3 of them was a little kid. Wow, what day is it today? I met another beautiful sister. Lin Shun arrived at the rooftop. When he saw Qin Yunhan, his eyes lit up. Little Chun, why are you here? Seeing this little kid, Xiao Qianwei asked curiously. Wang Haoran raised an eyebrow. He immediately confirmed that this was the 8-year-old main character Lin Shun. He immediately contacted the system and spent 200 villain points to check Lin Chen's information. Chapter 178. Main character, Lin Chen combat strength, 5 charisma, 288 main character aura, 2999 skill, golden finger prodigy system. Note, the more pretentious you are, the stronger you are. Successfully pretentious, you will receive points. Points can be exchanged for various abilities in the system. Master level driving skills, master level stock trading skills, master level magic performance skills, learning overlord aura, intelligence lowering aura. Note, can lower the villain's IQ to below 65. Group pet aura. Note, when bullied by bad guys, the 7 big sisters goddesses will turn into fanatical demons to protect their younger brothers. Undying aura. Note, main character. Aura points below 1,000 will be ineffective. Wang Haoran looked at Lin Chen's attribute panel and was dumbfounded. Prodigy system. Pretentious, you become stronger. This Lin Chen also has a system. Wang Haoran thought that War God was shameless enough, who knew that there would be someone even more shameless. Directly using an undying aura? How is he going to play this? Slowly take away his aura points? But this guy's aura points were $29.99. How long would it take? Did he really have to conquer all 7 big sisters goddesses? But this mission was too difficult. Sister, you're here too. When Lin Chen heard Qiu Qianwei's voice, he was surprised for a moment. Then his gaze shifted and he frowned as he looked at the other guy beside him. Ding! The main character Lin Chen's intelligence-lowering aura is about to take effect on the host. Once it takes effect, the host's IQ will be lowered to 65 or below, mild mental retardation. Detected that the host has plenty of villain points. Does the host choose to spend 3,000 villain points to purchase the resistance aura? After being glanced at by Lin Chen, Wang Haoran immediately received a system notification. If he didn't buy it, he would become a mild mental retardation. Did he have a choice? Of course he would buy it immediately. Ding! The host spent 3,000 villain points to purchase the resistance aura. It can nullify all negative effects that reduce the host's attributes. Hearing the system notification, Wang Haoran let out a sigh of relief. 3 beautiful sisters. My magic show isn't over yet. Can we continue now? Lin Chen did not take Wang Haoran to heart. He smiled and looked at Su Muyin, Mu Zhaozhao, and Wen Jing. What's going on? Wang Haoran immediately asked after hearing this. Haha, it's like this. This kid said that he knew magic and could turn leaves into flowers. Of course, we didn't believe him. He insisted on making a bet with us. He said that if he could turn leaves into flowers, he would let the 3 of us be his girlfriends. Mu Zhaozhao explained with a smile. After we received your call, we didn't want to talk to him, but he followed us here, Su Muyin said. We thought he was joking. He wasn't serious, Wen Jing said. Hearing this, Wang Haoran immediately complained in his heart. Were all these main characters the same? He often made bets with the female lead and wanted to trick the female lead into becoming his girlfriend. Couldn't he try something new? I'm sorry, my little brother is a bit noisy. I made a fool of myself. Qiu Qianwei apologized to everyone and prepared to leave with Lin Chen. 7th sister, I'm not leaving. If I leave, I'll lose 3 girlfriends. Lin Chen refused and said to Su Muyin and the others, 3 beautiful sisters, you have to keep your word. If they lose, they'll be your girlfriends. If you lose, what will you say? Wang Haoran interrupted. I won't lose. Lin Chen was full of confidence. You little brat, you only said what others will do if they lose, but you didn't say what you'll do if you lose. Aren't you being shameless? Wang Haoran sneered. I'm betting with these 3 beautiful sisters, not you. Lin Chen said unhappily. Little brat, his words are our thoughts. Wen Jing immediately jumped out to defend him. Agreed. Su Muyin followed. That's right. You're shameless. We don't want to bet with you. Mu Zhaozhao naturally stood on Wang Haoran's side. All right. Then tell me what I'll do if I lose. Lin Chen could only say. Su Muyin, Mu Zhaozhao, and Wen Jing couldn't think of anything at the moment. Why don't I say it? If you lose, I'll let your sister be my girlfriend. Wang Haoran suggested. You're dreaming. Lin Chen immediately objected. Little brat, it seems like you're dreaming even more. You want to trick 3 girlfriends at once? Wang Haoran sneered. Lin Chen was speechless. Our little brother is just joking. Don't take it seriously. Qiu Qianwei didn't want to get involved and immediately tried to smooth things over. I'm not joking. Lin Chen insisted. 7th sister, just do as he says and agree. Little Chen this. Qiu Qianwei was stunned. 7th sister, you still don't believe me? This. All right. Qiu Qianwei agreed. Her genius little brother always did things that exceeded everyone's expectations. Since he had already said this, he was definitely confident. He shouldn't lose. After the discussion, Lin Chen also prepared to perform. Wait a minute, Wang Haoran suddenly said. He circled around Lin Chen and patted his pockets as if he wanted to see if there was anything inside. Lin Chen stood still, but he was laughing in his heart. His magic had already reached a very high level. He could hide some magic props on his body without leaving a trace. That's enough. Wang Haoran said again. Look carefully. This is a leaf. Lin Shun first showed the leaf to everyone. Then, he folded the leaf and rubbed it in the palm of his hand. Using this time, he used his superb magic skills and immediately switched the leaf with the magic props he hid on his body. Friends in the audience, open your eyes. It's time to witness a miracle. Lin Shun said mysteriously. Then he opened his palm. Change. In the palm of his hand, there was nothing. The leaf was gone, but there were no flowers. Didn't he create flowers? Where are the flowers? That's it. That's it. I feel like my IQ has been insulted. Su Mu Yin, Mu Zhao Zhao, and Wen Jing all lamented. How could this be? Where are my magic props? Lin Shun was confused. He clearly remembered that he hid the flowers in his sleeve. How could it suddenly disappear? Could it be that when he was chasing the 3 beautiful sisters, he dropped it on the road? That must be it. Ding. Host has stolen a magic props and successfully stopped the main character Lin Shun from acting cool. Received 500 villain points. Lin Shun's main character aura -25. Host's villain aura +25. Looking at Lin Shun's confused face, Wang Haoran smiled but didn't say anything. I made a mistake. Let me try again. This time I can do it. Lin Shun relied on the fact that he was a child and shamelessly acted shamelessly. Wang Haoran couldn't be bothered with him. He directly walked in front of Qiu Qianwei. Miss Qiu, you will be my girlfriend from now on. Please take care of me. Qiu Qianwei's face froze. She didn't think that Lin Shun would lose. Miss Qiu, do you want to deny it? Wang Haoran asked with a smile. Chapter 179. I'm very sorry. Qiu Qianwei bowed to Wang Haoran apologetically and sincerely said, I'm afraid it's difficult for me to be your girlfriend. However, I can use money to make up for it. You can name a price. As long as I can afford it, I will definitely agree. Seeing Qiu Qianwei's attitude, Wang Haoran was not surprised. This Qiu Qianwei is a female lead with a very high charm value. It is obviously unrealistic to want her to be his girlfriend based on a verbal agreement. I'm just joking. Miss Qiu, you don't have to take it seriously. Wang Haoran suddenly laughed. It must be known that other than Qiu Qianwei, there were several other female leads. He would not ruin the other female lead's impression of him because of Qiu Qianwei. The reason why he said that to Qiu Qianwei was purely to tease her and gain a wave of goodwill. You're too gentlemanly. After hearing Wang Haoran's words, Qiu Qianwei suddenly let out a long sigh of relief. She could not help but look at him a few more times, as if she wanted to get to know him again. Ding! The female lead Qiu Qianwei's goodwill towards the host has increased by 10. Current goodwill is 30, very friendly. Ding! The host has influenced the plot. Gained 300 villain points. On the side, Lin Shun frowned and was very unhappy. Who told you to be so proud every day? Now you're defeated? Qiu Qianwei saw it and could not help but laugh. I really could do magic. Just now was purely an accident. Then can you do it now for me to see? Qiu Qianwei said. Wait a moment, I'll be right back. Magic was not a spell. It needed to be prepared with some magic tools. He just wanted to trick Su Mu Yin and the others. So he temporarily picked a flower from the roadside as a magic tool. Now that the flower was gone, he naturally needed to prepare something else. I also know magic. If Miss Qiu wants to see it, I can show it to you. Wang Haoran suddenly said. Lin Shun was just about to leave, but after hearing Wang Haoran's words, he suddenly stopped. You know magic too? Really? Qiu Qianwei asked in surprise. Qin Yunhan, Su Yin, Mu Zhao Zhao, and Wen Jing also looked at Wang Haoran in surprise. Of course. Wang Haoran nodded and then said, My magic is called telepathy. As long as you look into a person's eyes for 30 seconds, you can accurately guess what is in the other party's wallet. After saying that, he scanned the people present. Who wants to try it with me? Mimi. Mu Zhao Zhao was very interested. She immediately raised her hand and shouted. And me. Me too. Qin Yunhan and Su Muyin spoke one after another. Wen Jing also wanted to join in, but since 3 of them had spoken up, she didn't join in the fun. You guys know each other. He might have seen your wallets and naturally guessed it. How can this be considered magic? Lin Shun said in disdain. How about this? Guess what is in my wallet? Wang Haoran wasn't interested in looking at a kid for 30 seconds. He turned his head and looked at Qiu Qianwei. Miss Qiu, are you willing to cooperate with me? Sure. Qiu Qianwei nodded. Then let's begin. Wang Haoran walked a few steps closer to Qiu Qianwei and stopped half a meter in front of her. Then, he stared into her eyes without blinking. Qiu Qianwei was a little embarrassed and avoided his gaze. Miss Qiu, please be serious. You must look into my eyes for 30 seconds. Otherwise, this magic won't work. Wang Haoran reminded her. Okay. Qiu Qianwei thought that this was for the magic, so she temporarily put aside her embarrassment. She immediately looked into Wang Haoran's eyes seriously. Seeing this, Wang Haoran couldn't help but secretly smile. It was said that when a man and woman looked at each other for 30 seconds, there would be an unexpected chemical reaction. This kind of chemical reaction produced emotions called heartbeat. Of course, it was only effective for people with good looks. The two of them looked at each other like this, and time slowly passed. When the gaze reached 25 seconds, Wang Haoran received 2 system notifications. Ding! Female lead Qiu Qianwei's favorability towards the host has increased by 5. Current favorability toward the host is 35, very friendly. Ding. Host has influenced the direction of the plot. Received 200 villain points. The magic was just a cover. This was Wang Haoran's real goal. 30 seconds is up. It's done, it's done. Lin Shan was counting the seconds. When he saw that the time was up, he immediately shouted loudly. Qiu Qianwei hurriedly looked away. She only felt that her face was slightly hot, but after a few seconds, she returned to normal. Say it. Hurry up and tell me what's in my 7th sister's purse. Lin Chen urged. Qiu Qianwei, Qin Yunhan, Su Muyin, Mu Zhaozhao, and Wen Jing were all looking forward to it. An ID card, 3 bank cards, a 1-inch photo of Miss Qiu, and $1,213. Among them, 10 of them are $100, 4 of them are $50, 2 of them are $5, and 3 of them are $1. Wang Haoran slowly said. Hearing Wang Haoran's detailed explanation, Qiu Qianwei was stunned. This was because she didn't even know the contents of her own purse in such detail. Thinking of this, Qiu Qianwei immediately took out her purse and counted it carefully. 7th sister, is it true? Lin Chen asked. It's all true. Qiu Qianwei's face was full of shock. Qin Yunhan, Su Muyin, Mu Zhaozhao, and Wen Jing all looked at Wang Haoran in shock. Wang Haoran smiled, but didn't say a word. Did he know magic? Of course not. He only knew how to see through things. This kind of magic is child's play. It's just SOSO. If you're really capable, then show me a more serious magic trick. Lin Chen didn't succeed in his act. Now that he saw that Wang Haoran had stolen the limelight, he immediately went against Wang Haoran. My brother is used to being arrogant. Don't take his words to heart. Qiu Qianwei said. Your brother is young. I won't argue with him. But I actually know an even more powerful magic trick. It's called telekinesis. Wang Haoran said. Miss Qiu, do you want to admire it? If I have the honor, can I borrow your ID photo for a moment? Sure. Qiu Qianwei took out the photo from her purse. Miss Qiu, now hide this photo on your body. I'll get this photo without touching you directly. After saying that, Wang Haoran immediately turned around and asked Qiu Qianwei to hide the photo secretly. Qiu Qianwei thought for a moment and was about to put the photo in her pants pocket. 7th sister. Lin Chen suddenly came over and reminded her in a low voice, hide it well. He was a master-level magician. Naturally, he knew some tricks. However, it wasn't safe to put it in her pocket, because if a magician's hand was fast enough, he could only take it without the other party knowing. Then where should I hide it? Qiu Qianwei was suddenly a little conflicted. 7th sister, this is up to you. Anyway, it's better to hide it as well. It's best if no one else sees it. Lin Chen looked at the other beautiful sisters present. He was afraid that they would tell Wang Haoran, so he reminded her. Qiu Qianwei nodded. After thinking for a moment, she suddenly had an idea. After she left everyone's sight for a while, she came back again. Qiu Qianwei had already hidden the photo. As for where she hid it, no one knew. It's done, Qiu Qianwei said to Wang Haoran's back. Wang Haoran slowly turned around and looked at Qiu Qianwei. Soon, he revealed a shocked and strange expression. This Chiu Qianwei actually hid the photo. Chapter 180. You can begin, but you're not allowed to touch my seventh sister. Otherwise, your magic trick won't be considered a success. Lin Chen made it clear. Wang Haoren only smiled and slowly walked half a meter in front of Chiu Qianwei. He then circled around her and returned to his position in front of Chiu Qianwei. He loosened his clenched fist and opened it in front of Chiu Qianwei. In his hand was Chiu Qianwei's 1-inch ID photo. You? How did you? Chiu Qianwei was so shocked that she couldn't close her mouth. Ding! The female lead Chiu Qianwei's favorability towards the host has increased by 5. Current favorability is 40, very friendly. Ding! The host has influenced the plot. Gained 200 villain points. How is it? Is this magic trick okay? Wang Haoren asked with a smile. Chiu Qianwei's shocked emotions calmed down a bit, but it was quickly replaced by a feeling of embarrassment. She had hidden the ID photo so well, but it was taken by Wang Haoren. Doesn't that mean that Wang Haoren met her? On the side, Qin Yunhan, Su Mian, Mu Zhaozhao, and Wen Jing all turned into little fangirls and enthusiastically applauded Wang Haoren. What the hell? How did he do it? Lin Chen's eyes were about to pop out. He also knew magic and knew how to do it. But Wang Haoren's magic trick was beyond his understanding of magic. Seeing Lin Chen's expression, Wang Haoren couldn't help but laugh. What he did wasn't magic at all. Naturally, it couldn't be explained by magic. Even if Lin Chen cracked his little brain, he probably wouldn't understand how he did it. Putting away his thoughts, Wang Haoren put his attention back on Chiu Qianwei. They had only met for a short while, and Chiu Qianwei's favorability had increased to 40. It was really fast. As long as the favorability increased by 10, Chiu Qianwei would have feelings of admiration. Wang Haoren's charm halo was currently usable and could increase favorability by 10 points. He communicated with the system and immediately used charm halo on Chiu Qianwei. At the same time, the system quickly sent a notification. Ding! The host failed to use charm halo on the female lead Chiu Qianwei. What the hell? After receiving the system notification, Wang Haoren couldn't help but be stunned. This charm halo must be fake. How could it fail? Under normal circumstances, the charm halo could only be used once on each female lead. What was with Chiu Qianwei? Why did it fail? Wang Haoren communicated with the system telepathically. Ding! The female lead Chiu Qianwei's character setting is special. The current favorability of 40 points cannot be directly increased by the charm halo. The system does not have the specific information. Host, please explore it yourself. F***CK, Wang Haoren complained and exited the communication with the system. It's about time. My little brother and I need to leave. But it was nice meeting you today. If possible, I hope we can be friends. Chiu Qianwei said in a friendly manner. Of course. Wang Haoren smiled and nodded. Can you lend me your phone? Here. Chiu Qianwei straightforwardly took out her phone. Wang Haoren opened both his and Chiu Qianwei's phones and saved their contact information. Of course, he also planted a listening virus in Chiu Qianwei's phone. It's done. Wang Haoren returned the phone to Chiu Qianwei. Bye-bye then. My solo concert is in 5 days. If you and your friends are interested, I can give you some tickets. Chiu Qianwei took the initiative to offer. Qin Yunhan was a fan of Chiu Qianwei. After hearing this, she immediately replied for Wang Haoren. Interested, very interested. Chiu Qianwei smiled and nodded before leaving with Lin Chen. Seventh sister, where did you hide your ID? In the Pagani, Lin Chen couldn't hold back his curiosity and asked Chiu Qianwei. You little brat, focus on driving. Be careful. Chiu Qianwei avoided the topic. My skills are very stable. Just tell me. Lin Chen asked. Children shouldn't ask so much. Chiu Qianwei was too embarrassed to say, so she immediately said seriously. Okay, I won't ask. Lin Chen saw that and didn't continue to ask. However, he suddenly brought up another sensitive topic. Seventh sister, why did you take the initiative to exchange numbers with that person? Don't tell me you fell in love with him after watching him perform a magic trick. What are you thinking? Xiao Qianwei reached out and lightly knocked Lin Chen's little head. I have strict standards for boyfriends. Have you forgotten? She felt that Wang Haoran was quite handsome and that magic trick was very amazing. However, it was far from enough for her to like him. Yes, yes, yes. Seventh sister, you only pick people who have the same attainments as you in the field of music as your boyfriend. Lin Chun immediately relaxed and felt that he was very stable. According to Qiu Qianwei's standards for picking boyfriends, she probably couldn't find a single one in the whole world. His worries were completely unnecessary. However, Lin Chun still had some resentment towards Wang Haoran. He had the prodigy system. He could obtain points by acting cool and exchange them for various abilities. Moreover, the points obtained by acting cool in front of different people were different. For example, if he acted cool in front of ordinary people, the points obtained were very, very little. If he acted cool in front of beautiful women, the points obtained could be described as a C. If he didn't succeed in acting cool in front of those beautiful sisters today, his points could be exchanged for super powerful abilities in the field of music. However, it was a pity that Wang Haoran disrupted it. How could Lin Chen not have any resentment? Only picking people who have the same attainments as her in the field of music as her boyfriend? Is this Qiu Qianwei's character setting? No wonder I can't use charm aura on her directly. Wang Haoran listened to Lin Chen and Qiu Qianwei's conversation and was immediately enlightened. For example, if he increased it from 30 to 40, the charm aura would definitely be effective because this increase was still within the friendly stage. However, Qiu Qianwei's favorability towards him was currently at 40. If it increased by 10, it would reach the adoration level of 50. From friendly to adoration, this would directly jump across the stage. Wang Haoran only performed magic and didn't show any musical talent. Therefore, he didn't reach the standard of Qiu Qianwei's adoration. He did have a singing skill, but compared to the international genius pianist Qiu Qianwei, he was still lacking by quite a bit. Thinking of this, Wang Haoran immediately opened the system shop to check. He now had plenty of villain points. Even if he spent 3,000 points to exchange for the resistance aura, he still had 17,700 points left. There are too many things that could be exchanged. Wang Haoran carefully checked the system shop. From the vast number of items, he began to choose abilities related to music. Chapter 181. After a while, Wang Haoran chose two things: Supreme Level Piano Performance Level and Supreme Level Music Composition Level. These two abilities cost a total of 7,000 villain points. It was quite expensive, but in order to suppress the prodigy protagonist Lin Chun, he had to capture the genius pianist Qiu Qianwei. He had to spend this amount of villain points. Wang Haoran gritted his teeth and used 7,000 villain points to exchange for Supreme Level Piano Performance Level and Supreme Level Music Composition Level. Qiu Qianwei's various musical abilities were all at the Grandmaster level. These two Supreme Level abilities were a level higher than Qiu Qianwei's. If he performed in front of Qiu Qianwei, he would definitely shock her. 5 days later, Qiu Qianwei's solo concert would be held. This was the best time to capture her. Night. Wang Haoran came to a piano shop and prepared to buy a piano. Although the two Supreme Level musical abilities were directly comprehended, he was a person who strived for perfection. In order to perform well at Qiu Qianwei's concert, he had to practice in advance. Since he was going to practice, he naturally needed a good piano. Wang Haoran wandered around the piano shop for a while and immediately picked a piano that looked more pleasing to the eye. Next, he had to look at the piano's tone. Wang Haoran asked the piano shop staff to bring over a piano score and chose a super difficult song from it. Piano Concerto No. 3. In the history of music, this song was recognized as one of the most difficult songs to perform. With Wang Haoran's Supreme Level Piano Performance Level, if he were to play an ordinary song, it would not be a challenge. This Piano Concerto No. 3 met his requirements very well. Wang Haoran first browsed through the score and then put it on the piano stand. As the dazzling fingers danced between the keys, the piano also emitted a pleasant sound. Wang Haoran only felt that he was one with the piano. This mysterious feeling was like the man and sword described in martial arts novels. In this state of immersion, Wang Haoran unknowingly finished playing the piano piece. And just as the last note of the piano piece fell, there was a lot of enthusiastic applause around. Wang Haoran looked back and saw that there were about 20 people around him. Among them were the owners of piano shops, as well as customers who came to buy pianos. He was too immersed in the performance to notice what was happening around him. Presumably, these people were all attracted by the piano music he played. This is it. Wang Haoran felt that this piano was very convenient and was ready to buy it directly. As for the price of one, 88 million, he didn't care. To him, 88 million was just peanuts. He swiped his card to pay the bill and left his address and contact information. He just had to wait for the people from the piano shop to deliver the piano to him the next day. However, what Wang Haoran didn't know was that his performance was recorded by a little girl on a whim and posted on a short video. Of course, this little fangirl, in order to avoid infringing on the portrait rights, had Wang Haoran's face censored. However, this didn't affect anything, because the biggest highlight of the short video was not Wang Haoran's looks, but his outstanding piano playing skills. After one night, this short video went viral with millions of likes. The next day, this short video of him playing the piano piece directly rushed to the top of the trending searches. The keyword of the title was Piano Prince Charming. At this time, Wang Haoran was still sleeping. It was the holidays now, and he didn't have to go to class, so naturally he didn't wake up early. What's more, he was busy until quite late last night. Tang Bingyun also slept until late in the morning. After waking up, she complained that Wang Haoran made her late for work, while looking for clothes everywhere in the living room, kitchen, balcony, and bedroom. On a quiet hilltop villa, Qiu Qianwei was practicing piano music in the villa's piano room. She was very talented in music and also worked very hard. Her solo concert was in a few days, and she was preparing to go into seclusion for a few days to practice the piano music that she was going to perform at the concert. However, there was a very difficult piano piece that she played several times in a row, but she was still not satisfied. The reason for her dissatisfaction was only that the few notes of the piece were not connected perfectly. Although these flaws could not be heard by ordinary musicians, Qiu Qianwei was very strict with herself. She would never allow herself to have such flaws. She took a few deep breaths, calmed herself down, and continued to practice this difficult piano piece. However, after practicing this piano piece 10 times, the flaws still existed. These flaws were not caused by the sense of sound, but by the finger technique. This made her feel a little annoyed. Miss Qiu, I saw that you were playing the same piece for almost the entire morning. Did you encounter a problem? The housekeeper who was cleaning the house saw that Qiu Qianwei seemed to be a little troubled at the moment, so she asked curiously, "It's a small problem, but I should be able to solve it soon." When Qiu Qianwei said this, she actually had some doubts in her heart. Miss Qiu, the piano god who dominated the Douyin screen, seems to be playing this piece. Why don't you go and see how he plays it? The housekeeper's EQ was slightly low, so she directly gave Qiu Qianwei a suggestion. When Qiu Qianwei heard this, she immediately frowned. What level was she? An international genius pianist. What was on the Douyin screen? Most of them were just some amateur musicians who were trying to attract attention. Asking her, an international genius pianist, to learn from amateur musicians? This was simply ridiculous. Miss Qiu, I'm going to clean up. Although the housekeeper's EQ was low, she still knew how to read people's expressions. When she saw Qiu Qianwei's expression, she immediately understood that she had said something wrong and went to work dejectedly. Qiu Qianwei felt a little annoyed, so she took out her phone and browsed through her moments to adjust her mood. Very quickly, she found a strange phenomenon in her moments. 5 of her friends had forwarded a short video titled Piano Adonis. This made Qiu Qianwei a little confused. The housekeeper standard was not high, so it was fine if she praised this so-called piano god. And the few who forwarded the short video were all friends of hers who had a high appreciation of music. What was going on with them? They actually forwarded this kind of video. Could it be that this piano god really had some ability? With curiosity in her heart, Qiu Qianwei opened the short video and took a look. The video was taken from a side. A man with a heavily pixelated side profile was playing the third piano concerto on a new piano. As the saying goes, once an expert makes a move, one will know whether or not he has it. Xiao Qianwei heard less than 10 notes and was immediately surprised. This piano god really did seem to have something. Xiao Qianwei adjusted her thoughts and listened carefully. Her mouth also opened wider and wider because of her surprise. When the third piano concerto was finished, Xiao Qianwei was so surprised that her small mouth could fit a big duck egg. Chapter 182. Xiao Qianwei's annoyance suddenly became clear. The short video captured the hands, and the fingering of the piano god could be seen. Xiao Qianwei immediately thought, so fingering can be used this way. She immediately played according to the piano god fingering, and a few minutes later, a smooth third piano concerto was played. Masters are really among the people. Xiao Qianwei didn't dare to underestimate the piano god anymore, and even felt some admiration in her heart. She immediately opened the App Store and downloaded a Douyin. Originally, she didn't play Douyin, but in order to understand more about this piano god, she was prepared to use Douyin for the first time. Soon, the software was downloaded. She used the keyword piano god to search in the software. However, she found that there was no Douyin account for the piano god. The original video of the piano god with millions of likes was posted by a little girl who played Douyin. Everyone wanted to know who the piano god was, and the private messages of this little girl's account were almost exploding with all kinds of messages. Therefore, the little girl posted an explanation video after the video with millions of likes, stating that she was naked, and as for other information, she didn't reveal anything. However, the eyes of the netizens were still bright. From the background of the original video, everyone found that it was shot at Tianqi Piano Hall. And the location of this Tianqi Piano Hall was in Qingling. Tianqi Piano Hall. Xiao Qianwei secretly remembered this keyword and prepared to take a look tomorrow to find out more about this piano god. In that short video, although the appearance of the piano god was blurred out from the skin on the back of his hand, it should be a very young man. So young, but his piano skills were better than her. It was the first time Xiao Qianwei met such a person. She wanted to know more about him, make friends with him, and even if fate brought them together, night. Wang family villa. During the day, the piano had been delivered. Wang Haoren wanted to stop his life of partying every night, so he didn't ask anyone out and planned to practice the piano. However, someone couldn't help but contact him. Since the beauty took the initiative, how could he not agree? However, he didn't plan to go out today. Anyway, his cheap parents rarely came back, and basically didn't come back to stay. And when they came back, they realized that it was nothing. The two of them would probably pretend that they didn't see it. Who knows, they might even welcome it. She would never say anything critical of her son. While waiting, Wang Haoren practiced the zither in the zither room. This time, he didn't play a world-famous piano piece, but a piece of music he composed himself. He now had the ability to compose music at the supreme level. Composing music was a piece of cake for him. However, when it came to creativity, there was usually room for modification. As Wang Haoren played, he encountered areas that he was not satisfied with, so he immediately changed them. After about 10 times, the entire song was played smoothly like flowing water. Only then was the final draft finalized. Just as he finished his work, his phone rang. Someone had arrived. Wang Haoren immediately went outside the villa to pick her up and brought her into the piano room. The visitor was none other than Yang Jingwan. Yang Jingwan appeared to be a little flustered. She seemed a little scared. "You're not a thief. What are you afraid of?" "Don't worry," Wang Haoren comforted her. "Your house is too big." Yang Jingwan couldn't help but sigh as she recalled the scene of her walk. "It's not that big. It's just average." Wang Haoren was used to it and didn't think much of it. Yang Jingwan's heart was still unsettled. Comparing the two families, she couldn't help but feel inferior. Before she and Wang Haoren got together, although there was nothing between them, it was still her second marriage. Moreover, her family background was average. It wasn't impossible for her to marry into the Wang family. However, she was easily satisfied. She just wanted to be with the one she loved forever. She didn't expect anything else. "Don't be so reserved. Relax. Make yourself at home, Wang Haoran said with a smile when he saw Yang Jingwan's strange expression. Okay. When Yang Jingwan heard this, she immediately relaxed. Then, she glanced at the piano in the piano room. Do you know how to play the piano? A little. Wang Haoran smiled. Oh, right. She suddenly remembered something, so she took out her phone and opened a short video. This person's figure looks like you. Is this you? Let me see. Yeah, it really is me. Wang Haoran took the phone and looked at it. He immediately recognized that it was the scene of him playing the piano at the piano shop yesterday. Someone must have posted it on the internet. But what's with the millions of likes? It really is you. You're famous, you know? Now, out of 10 Douyin videos, at least 8 of them are about you. Yang Jingwan was overjoyed. You're so popular just by playing the piano without relying on your face. If I show my face, what will happen? Wang Haoran felt that it was quite interesting and immediately joked. Luckily, the person who posted you censored you. If those girls saw that the piano god was still so handsome, they would probably go crazy. Yang Jingwan giggled. Forget it. I don't want to be famous. Wang Haoran immediately shook his head. He still wanted to be a low-key villain. I want to listen to the piano god play the piano up close. Is that okay? Yang Jingwan laughed. No problem. Wang Haoran went to get a piece of paper and tape to make a simple paper mask. Then, he registered a Douyin account and handed the phone to Yang Jingwan. I just wrote this song not long ago. Help me record it, and I'll post it on my account to see everyone's reaction. Okay. Yang Jingwan nodded. Wang Haoran sat down in front of the piano and immediately played the piano song he wrote. Yang Jingwan turned into a fangirl. She listened to it while recording with her phone. After a few minutes, the piano song ended. Yang Jingwan pressed pause on the phone screen and stopped recording. Then, she said happily, "This song is so beautiful. The melody of this song is so beautiful. It's so nice. What's the name? I haven't thought of a name yet. I need a few days to think about it." Wang Haoran was still quite concerned about naming things. Then, remember to tell me when you've thought of a name. I will. Wang Haoran nodded. Then, he looked at the time and glanced at Yang Jingwan. I've already performed for you. Isn't it your turn to perform? Then let's go. Yang Jingwan nodded shyly. Where to? The bedroom. The environment here is quite good. Chapter 183. In the afternoon, the sun was shining brightly. There were only 3 days left until the concert, but Xiao Qianwei did not stay at home to practice. She dressed up simply with sunglasses and a hat to cover her face and prepared to make a trip to Tianqi Piano Shop. Although she was not a big star and not everyone knew her, she was still a public figure with a lot of influence. Usually, when she went to crowded places, she would cover her face to avoid any unnecessary trouble. Around 2 o'clock, the full-time driver sent her to Tianqi Piano Shop. The piano shop was full of people inside and outside. All of them were men and women who were dressed very fashionably. This made Xiao Qianwei a little confused. After she got out of the car to take a look, she heard these people's conversation and realized that they were all internet celebrities from short videos. The reason why they came here was similar to her goal, which was to meet the piano Prince Charming. Now that the piano Prince Charming was too popular, almost any video that could touch the popularity of the piano Prince Charming would be trending. Tianqi Piano Shop had become a place where internet celebrities checked in. Regarding this, the owner of the piano shop was also very happy. Now that the short video industry was so popular, these people were advertising their piano shop in disguise, and the owner was also very welcoming. Of course, the premise was that the welcome did not affect the business and did not destroy the piano shop. One had to know that this piano shop was not small. The cheapest piano was a few tens of thousands, and the most expensive was as high as nearly 2 million. Xiao Qianwei avoided these young internet celebrities and found the owner of the piano shop to talk in private. The owner of the piano shop was a middle-aged woman who liked music very much. When she recognized Xiao Qianwei, the owner was very happy. Seeing this, Xiao Qianwei took advantage of the situation and said, "Boss, I want the contact of the piano Prince Charming, who played piano in the piano shop. Can you provide it?" "Miss Xiao, I'm very sorry about this. We are absolutely confidential with the customer's information, I'm afraid. The female owner said awkwardly. Similar questions were asked by internet celebrities outside. She was already used to it. I don't mean any harm. I just want to contact him and talk to him about some music matters, Chiu Qianwei explained. Miss Chiu, of course I believe you, but we have a customer confidentiality policy. We really can't disclose the customer's information. The female owner's attitude was firm. She was Chiu Qianwei's fan. If Chiu Qianwei asked for an ordinary customer, she might have just said it secretly. But that piano god was different. He was a big client. That day, he bought a piano worth $1.88 million. When he paid for it in full, he didn't even blink. It was as if he had bought a very ordinary product. How could they afford to offend such a person? If he angered the other party would hire a lawyer to sue him, and the piano store would probably close down immediately. No matter how much the female boss liked Chiu Qianwei, it was impossible for her to gamble with her own piano business. Can't you make an exception? Chiu Qianwei was still unwilling to give up. Miss Chiu, please don't make things difficult for me, the female boss said with a bitter face. Then, I'm sorry to disturb you. Chiu Qianwei was not an unreasonable person. Seeing that the female boss was so firm, she could only sigh regretfully and did not continue to force her. With a gloomy mood, Chiu Qianwei prepared to leave the piano shop. The piano Prince Charming has opened an account, and he even posted a piece. Chiu Qianwei heard exclamations when she passed by the internet celebrities who had come to check in. The depression in her heart lessened slightly, and there was a hint of joy. She immediately took out her phone and browsed through the short video. The software pushed videos based on big data. Chiu Qianwei had only browsed videos related to the piano Prince Charming. Therefore, when she opened the software, the first thing she saw was the work posted by the piano Prince Charming. This video had already received more than 5 million likes. The time it was sent was around 10 o'clock last night. The title of the work said, "A piano piece that has just been composed. Please review it. You're welcome to forward it, but please indicate the source. In addition, if you use the music for commercial purposes without my permission, my legal team will warn you." The account of this work, called Piano Prince Charming, already had more than 1 million fans. In less than 15 hours, a video had more than 5 million likes and gained 1 million fans. This kind of growth speed was really enough to be described as terrifying. However, Chiu Qianwei's focus was not on the data, but on the content of the work. This work was still a piano piece, and the piano Prince Charming did not show his face. He wore a simple self-made paper mask, and the piano piece was something that Chiu Qianwei had never heard of before. However, this did not affect Chiu Qianwei's shocked mood. Her ability to appreciate music was very, very high. Naturally, she could judge the level of this piece of music. She could guarantee that this piece of music, if placed in the current music industry, would definitely be a work of the gods. In terms of music composition, she had many works of her own. Moreover, she was still proud of her own works. However, compared to the work of this piano Prince Charming, it really felt like a high school full-score essay competition with a university award-winning thesis. Was a high school full-score essay awesome? Awesome. Was a university award-winning thesis awesome? Awesome too. However, in terms of level, high school full-score works were much lower. Chiu Qianwei stood in place for more than half an hour and listened to this piano piece 10 times before temporarily stopping. Then, she also followed the Piano Prince Charming and clicked on his homepage to check the Piano Prince Charming self-introduction and other information. There is only a simple introduction on the homepage. 18 years old piano enthusiast, please advise. When she saw the words, 18 years old, Chiu Qianwei was stunned. It turned out that this Piano Prince Charming was younger than her by 2 years. When she saw the words piano enthusiast, Chiu Qianwei only felt ashamed. She was an internationally recognized genius young pianist, and she was proud of it. But the Piano Prince Charming? He considered himself a piano enthusiast, but his level was enough to hang her up. How could Chiu Qianwei not be ashamed? A sense of defeat lingered in her heart, but she quickly cheered up and sent a private message to the Piano Prince Charming. There were 2 wishes in the private message. First, she wanted to buy the full copyright of this piece of music. Second, she wanted to invite the piano Prince Charming to her concert as a special guest.